Hi, everybody, and welcome. It is Adios, Barry. Barry Dean, the ALABCA Executive Director, 25 years, 29 years with the organization, but we're about to boot you out the door, Barry.
Why would you? Come on, why would you do that, man?
Because it's time to go, right? I mean, you're the one that said it's time to go.
That's right. That's right.
But you're going to take us down memory lane.
I am.
I mean, there apparently have been a lot of things happen over the course of 25 years. And you have agreed tonight to sit down with us, to reflect, to talk about some of the people you've met along the way. And we're going to end it with where you're headed to. I know you're an old guy, but you're still at it. I mean, there's still a future for Barry Dean, and we'll talk about that. But Barry Dean, ALABCA Executive Director, for those who may not know, you are calling it quits on the 31st of July, but will be in a smaller capacity because you're moving on to other endeavors. So let's go to the very beginning. I mean, let's go back first. That's the best place to start. And I want to put up a picture, and you tell me, you say that this is very impactful for you. This is really where it all started for you. So how can this picture be where it all began?
It is. I could not find the Julian Mock and Harry Lloyd picture, but this is Coach Harry Lloyd. Passed away a couple years ago. This was like in 2021. He was close to 90. He was around 90 years old. But Coach Lloyd, I went to the baseball camp in Young Harris at Young Harris College way back in 1982, the summer of 82, 100 years ago when I was a junior at Montgomery Catholic High School. My best bud, BFF, let's go modern here, was Kevin Henry, who played baseball at Jeff Davis in Montgomery, which back then Jeff Davis was like Auburn High School, Hoover High School, and baseball and football. They were juggernauts. And Kevin was one of the best players in the state by far. And Auburn offered him, and Clemson had offered him. And Julian Mock, not in this picture, any of the older folks and baseball folks know Julian Mock was the Red Scout in Alabama, Georgia, Florida Panhandle, area scout who went on to be the scouting director when Marge Schott was running the team and her dog was on the field. I had therapy issues about that. We won't get into that right now. Keep me on track, Robert. But Coach Lloyd, Julian Mock invited Kevin to the camp because Kevin was a really good player. This was not a big-time camp like LSU camp or Mississippi State's baseball camp. But Mock and Lloyd, Coach Mock, Julian Mock, the Red Scout, who was a coach at one time, Harry Lloyd from Westminster Academy in Atlanta, Red Whitsitt, Royal Kansas City Royal Scout, and John Guthrie, Associate Commissioner of the SEC, basketball coach, Associate Commissioner at that time of the SEC, ran that camp. They were big-time men, but it was kind of just a local area type camp. And Kevin asked myself, he and I were best buds, and three other guys from Jeff Davis, and we all went to that camp after our junior year in high school that summer for our senior season. And it was a great camp. I mean, Harvey Cochran from Georgia, who ran the Dugout Club, eventually worked that camp. Ellis Dungan, the longtime scout, who's at Chipola at the time. I mean, and I'm from Montgomery Catholic High, loving baseball, but not a baseball mecca, not even close. Kevin from Jeff Davis, a baseball mecca. But anyway, that inspired me. And then we come back and go to a Joe Mason, the legend, who's been a big part of my life, baseball career, invited Kevin and some of us local kids to play fall ball. Nothing like today, guys. Nothing like today. Joe worked us out at Chisholm Park in Montgomery, Summer League Field, City Park. We went and played Faulkner and a couple of JUCOs, and Joe just practiced us because he's the best human being on the world and loves baseball and cared about us guys. Didn't charge us any money. And so Joe knew I was going to be a coach at least due to my lack of playing skills. And so I went to Chattahoochee Valley, walked on. I was so good. I walked on. Coach Johnson over there. We'll show a picture of him later. And they needed a coach at the camp. Coach Mock goes, "Hey, Joe, I need some coaches up here. We're struggling. How it is with camps." And Joe asked me, "Hey, Barry, you want to go up there and work that camp?" I finished my third year at Chattahoochee Valley, and I was going to AUM. And I redshirted at CV to get stronger and lift weights. So I played 3 years, or was there 3 years. Playing is very sparingly, but went up there after my third year at CV to work that camp and was falling in love with coaching already. And Coach Lloyd, I kept in touch with. That was in 21. And Coach Mock I did as well. I went to his funeral a few years before that in Fayetteville, Georgia. Coach Mock, Coach Lloyd died a couple of years ago. He meant a great deal to Jabbo Jordan and myself. Jabbo spoke at his funeral and did a phenomenal job. 10 guys did, and he was one of the 10 in the lineup, the baseball lineup. And anyway, he and Coach Mock, Julian Mock, had a lot of confidence in me, which I know, Robert. I'm glad you're sitting down. You may fall and hit your head. They were big time, but they had a lot of confidence in this guy. One of the first things Coach Mock said at the camp one time at Young Harris, they didn't have sports at the time, so we threw bases down. They threw bases in the beautiful mountains where the baseball field is now. They threw bases down and just played. And we were some of the better players there. My friend, of course, was the best one probably, and us guys from JD and even me, I was average, but still we were some of the better ones there. And Coach Mock, when I went back to coach it, in fact, John Russell's son, Russ, who's now big time with turf management, was going to the camp, and Mr. Russell gave him the cages to pop up temporarily. But when I went back and worked the camp, Coach Mock goes, hey, I got something for you to do. It's a big deal. He goes, find a young lady on campus going to school and get her down here to be the queen for the last day and escort the guys out. That little ceremony. And I had they let me use a golf cart, and I asked, I'm kind of shy. I've been working.
I've noticed that.
I've been working on getting out of that.
Yeah.
And I went up on campus. I started lobbying at a young, I was, like I said, 18, 19 years old, and got a young lady, a student who would do it. And it was fun. So those guys mean the world to me. And last thing before we get going with this more, Coach Lloyd invited me when I was a graduate assistant at Troy, 1991. I was a GA at Troy for Coach John Mayotte, who followed the legendary Chase Riddle. And Coach Lloyd invited me to come over to the Georgia Dugout Club as a coach, just to attendee. So I paid, went over there, and the Georgia Dugout Club, that Coach Mock, Coach Lloyd, Whitsitt, someone else, sorry, Georgia guys, if someone's watching, those three guys and maybe someone else or two founded the Atlanta Dugout Club, which became the Georgia Dugout Club. And I went over and saw that as a wide-eyed, bushy-tailed GA at Troy State at the time, now Troy University. And it's like striking a match and throwing it on a sage field. And just the Lloyd thing continued. The Georgia guys had a great dugout club since the late 60s, I think. And then Robert Proctor in 1995 sent the first flyer out. Can you pull that first flyer out?
I can.
There you go. You're quick. That was the first flyer. Hoover High School had a great lineup. There you go. Hey, you're good. See, I knew you knew what you were doing. Had a great lineup. You had Sammy Dunn. Doesn't get any better than that. Montevallo, Bob Reasoner. Hall of Famers for days. Southern Union, Jabbo. I know Jim Wells at Bama, Birmingham Southern. That Schoenrock, Darren Schoenrock. Just Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer. And at this clinic, I went to it at the time I was coaching at Alabama Southern, interim head coach. And I went to this, and there were mostly high school coaches, probably 60 or 70 coaches there. And Robert Proctor founded it. He was a coach at Talladega High School. And he said during the convention, he was introducing speakers. In between, he'd say, hey, if you want to help me, coaches, talk to me in between speakers after the clinic. We're at Hoover's Auditorium. And he goes, talk to me. I need some help. And I did. The wheels were turning. So Robert got an assistant coaching job at Prattville after that. So we met like in January of 96. This is in December 95. We meet in January, February. And I'm the only college coach. Now, no, I'm not trying to talk big here because I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. You had the Sammy Dunns, William Booth, Darryl Cooper, who was my first right-hand guy when I took over. Chip Lindsey, who went on to Auburn football, another UCF. Chip was, I think, on the committee as well as a baseball coach. Dick Steed, legend up in the Shades Valley. And I'm the only college guy, but really the young, wet behind the ears guy. And Robert was passing out things to do. Who wants to do the media or the awards or, do the notification of the media, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And when he said who wants to do the clinic, I immediately went, I wanted to do it. And we go from the Hoover Auditorium. If you have the second one, 1997, when I took it over, I went to the downtown Sheraton. And you talk about, instead of biting off a little slice, I bit off the whole pie. We go downtown to the Sheridan, and even now, the BJCC and the medical center, we were a tadpole of a tadpole the second year. Now we could go down. We've been down there before now after we've grown, but holy smokes. And that's where I got my training on hotel people will take advantage of you. Let's keep this PG-13. They will take advantage of you in a heartbeat. And I have learned to be a pretty good haggler with hotels, actually really good. Event planners have told me, because I've been just gotten over on a few times early on of things they charge you for. So we took it to there, and it was way too soon. And the guy, Robert, about fired me when he got the bill. Of course, I've been known to do that. Right? That's Robert. I feel like that when you send me your bill for Jock Jive. Anyway, I digress too late.
Yes.
I had to get, and there it was. I just took off and ran with it. I made the speaker list longer and just got after. I'll say this for people out there. I watch Shark Tank all the time. And when you try it, what's the saying, Robert? If you fail, try and try again.
Mm-hmm.
When I was coaching at Montgomery Catholic, my cousin Jeff Clark was the football and baseball. In '89, I helped him when I was finishing up at AUM, my non-illustrious playing and academic career at AUM. And I helped him coach at Catholic. And then 2 years later, after I finished my GA at Troy, I came back and coached the team as a head coach for 1 year while my cousin Jeff did the football off-season program. He was a baseball coach. He said, Barry, won't you run the baseball? I'll pay you a lucrative $500, and I'll work on the strength and conditioning program with football. And you run it, you young base. He knew I loved baseball, and I was a little more versed on baseball than he was. He's my first cousin. I love him, but he knew that too. And so I went there. Oh my God. Oh man, I was on fire, brother. I'm crazy now. You think about back then. And
crazy. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. So this was the start of my hosting of way back. These things were coming that Coach Tom Fletcher at Faulkner. Now it's Faulkner at Alabama Christian. Back then it's called Alabama Christian. The school was Alabama Christian High School, but even Alabama Christian was a college. He would host these clinics in the wintertime. Rod Delmonico, I think, was at Clemson at the time. Went on for famous at Tennessee, and his son's, I think, a big leaguer. And Coach Delmonico, he brought these guys in, and they would do clinics at the Holiday Inn in Montgomery downtown on above Crampton Bowl. Now it's gone. It's a parking lot. Or at Faulkner at Alabama Christian in the gym. He brought these guys in like Delmonico and Hoss Bolin he had tobacco running down his face and from West Alabama and talking. You thought he was General Patton. But he would do these clinics, and I would go to them because I was at Montgomery Catholic, and I was just soaking it up, wanting to be a student and learning more about the game and these big time people. And so I got to Catholic coaching like in '92 for my cousin being the head coach. I host a clinic for the volunteer coaches in Montgomery for the dads, free. And you know me, Robert, I'm going to provide food. My mom taught me that I should be 400 pounds.
Army's barbecue is what I understand.
Mom, it was not Cracker Barrel. So, but I had all these cakes and some Cokes and, food, just
Mm-hmm.
So I had a good little lineup of Lou Thornton, Jamie Cassidy, who played at AUM, went on to coach. Sal Argilla, who played at AUM with me, he went on to coach. They're both over in Georgia, and they baseball. Barry Hightower, I think, was going to be one of the speakers. A great pitcher from Dothan who finished up at AUM. Lou Thornton, though, the big leaguer, who is a great friend of mine to this day, had a great little lineup. This was the same night, timing in March. This is the same night in March, 1992, when Alabama played South Alabama in March Madness.
Mm-hmm. So
no, two guys showed up, and these were guys that I was growing up. One of them coached me as a youth leaguer in East Montgomery, in Montgomery, Alabama, and one of his friends who knew my dad real well, who had passed away in '89, but who knew my dad real well. Those two came out just to see young little kid Barry Dean hosting a clinic. So,
all right, little kid Barry Dean, I got to take a break here. Now, first of all, we're doing this on the fly by the seat of our pants. That's the way. That's the Barry Dean way. So that's the way we're flying tonight. So I got a video, and I also got a comment. So let me go to the comment first, and let's see if there we are.
Taylor Brooks.
Never be another Barry Dean for the ALABCA. He has made it what it is through hard work, being dedicated to everything, committed to the best possible. Thank you all. Barry, Caleb, who, by the way, does a great job for you.
He's done social media. We're going to see his commercials. We're going to see some of his commercials. He's done recaps of the All-Star event, like 3 or 4 or 5 with me. It's sometimes 10-minute videos, but 3 or 4 or 5-minute videos. I do pretty good at trying to keep them fairly short. He'll do 30-second commercials. We're going to see tonight for the All-Star event, the first pitch dinner, scholarship day, the convention. Richie Brooks, saw Richie and Caleb yesterday at the HSA baseball All-Star Sports Week clinic, and Caleb's done a great job. I'm happy for him. He's moved on to Pike Road as a head baseball coach, Pike Road High School, married, got him a house. And it's like I was changing his diaper. He was getting his diapers changed 5 years ago when he interviewed me at Troy.
Wait a minute. You said you were changing his.
Well, he was changing his diapers. I wasn't changing them. Maybe Richie was.
Okay.
But now he's just grown up and gone from Coosa Valley Academy to Pike Road High School as a head baseball coach and married. But he's done a great job with some of our social media, our videos, especially. He does those, and he puts the music to them that I like, not any kind of elevator music, Robert, that you would possibly get in the 70s, kind of that.
Oh, you're a Bee Gees fan.
Kind of that kaleidoscope Vietnam time. Yeah. You were kind of, I don't know. Anyway,
hey, listen, I'm not the guy with the jock strap hanging on his wall. Whatever that is.
That's the fanny pack.
The fanny pack.
That's the fanny pack with the ACCA Catholic Coaches Athletes logo that Dean Myrick is envious of. Brandon Ware, Casey Underwood, Blake Lewis, they are envious of it. And I'm going to get all of them with the new Association of Catholic Coaches. I'm going to get ALABCA ones just for bonus gifts for them. That'd be nice. But
by the way, if you want to comment, you comment. We can post it. Toast him or roast him. I'd prefer the roast. He'd prefer the toast. Also, I heard you mention the name Joe Mason. So let's go to a video from Joe.
Please do. Yeah, stop.
Yeah, it's a sad day for me. I've known Barry since he was about 11 years old. I ran a camp in the fall, and he came to the camp when he was about, I can't remember if he was 11 or 12, but I knew his dad long before that. But Barry came, and he's been I don't know, you hate to say a guy as old as I am and follow somebody, but he's got so much energy. He does so much for baseball in this state, and even in the country. And now that he's going into this other field, it'll be nationwide. But he spent so much. I don't. You get aggravated at Barry because he's so energetic and he's so stubborn sometimes, but he means well in everything he does, and I can't say nothing bad about Barry Dean.
Stubborn? Who, me?
I thought it. I don't know what he was talking about.
Well,
and the energy level is a little high, apparently.
That's still. My brother is a Catholic priest. His energy level's high. My brother, the lawyer, his energy level's high. Think about that. He's a collection lawyer, so he don't need commercials. He's really good at what he does. You think 3 brothers would be a little different, but we're all kind of energetic. And we love what we do, and we're persistent, and we're a little bulldoggish. They beat me up. We have some litigation going on, and that's why I became good at throwing at a young age. I would pick up anything in sight. They were 5 or 6 years older, and I would throw stuff at them. And the kids from the neighborhood this is more than we were going to talk about, but the kids from the neighborhood would come down to see us fight all summer. It was a blast. But Joe meant the high school thing. That's when he worked with us and all those high school guys. And out of pure love, out of pure caring about us, as he's done with thousands and thousands. When we started the All-Star event, I know when I started that All-Star event, because Sammy Dunn was one of the main ones in 1999, and William Booth, we were at one of our meetings up there at Vestavia for the Coach Association. And Coach Dunn, who told me to call him Sammy, I was calling him Coach in reverence, but he said, "Call me Sammy." He was so down to earth. He talked to anybody about baseball, but no airs about him. But Sammy goes, "We need something in our state because I'm tired of these guys trying to take." Sammy kept his guys. Those kids are 5 years old going to Vestavia Hills High School camp. I mean, he had them lock stop. It wasn't accidental that they knew how to play Vestavia Hills baseball when they got to that high school team. But he said, "We need something in our state in the summer to showcase our kids. I'm tired of these other guys trying to take them." Me, kind of like the Mikey, eat this, Mikey, try this. I went to Middle Tennessee State. I knew them from coaching at Troy. Jim McGuire, assistant coach, Coach Pete from Alabama, but a legend. And Scott Tubbs. And can't rush my guy. Congrats, Barry. Thank you for everything you've done for baseball. Proud to call you a friend. Scott Tubbs, 3rd stage prostate cancer survivor. Wife Erin, we live streamed the game there this year, Robert. We were my vision of us actually being semi-rock stars, which you are always, but in that game of the week, to have kind of that ESPN game day, that was as close as we've been with their fans at Hopewell High School, playing Elmore County, big Elmore County rival. But Scott's a huge supporter. His wife Erin's been a huge supporter, and but Joe everybody is beholden to Joe Mason. And when we started the All-Star event in 1999, I went to Tennessee and copied their event at Middle Tennessee State that the TBCA did, Tennessee Baseball Coach Association did. Literally copied it, did it in 2000 in Alabama. I added a lot to it with a banquet and the talks. But Joe was the one who would go with me to all, and Darrell Blevins, the late, great Darrell Blevins. And we'll get to signing the incorporation document when I got this formed this to be a 501c3, got it to be that with a lawyer. But Joe would go with us. Darrell Blevins and I and Joe would go to the workouts, and Darrell and I would kind of work them out. And then Joe would pick them mostly. And we would pick them on the spot, kind of like American Idol. And so Joe would be in another dugout, and all the kids in the other dugout at the end of it. And Joe would hand me the list. And he called me the Grim Reaper. He goes, "Here you go, Grim Reaper." And I'd go over and tell them who made it and who didn't.
I want to know, though, now you've spent a lot of time telling us about these events. I want to know how you became the executive director, though. I mean, what led to you actually taking over that job?
That's a good question. When Robert Proctor found the association in 95 and he had that meeting and guys volunteered, I did the convention, which was the thing. And other guys were doing other things and they kind of did them, or if they didn't do them, I would pick them up. Because I was single, coaching Alabama Southern, the head coach at the time, but I had a lot of energy. I'd do stuff on weekends all night. I didn't have a wife telling me to, stop doing it. And I would do it. So when he got out of coaching in 2000, Robert Proctor, we met at Vestavia, and the guys said, "Barry, you're doing a lot of the work here. You run it." And I said, "I'll do it." And that's when I went to I'm proud of these numbers, Robert. 16, 252, 2.52, and 42 out of 49. So 16 ACT, had a 252 GPA in college, undergrad. Masters had to have a 3.0 in PE. I did that. And then 42 out of 49 at the class of Catholic Chi in 1983.
Hey, we're proud of you, Barry. All right, again,
that's impressive. It's impressive, I know.
It is quite impressive. Hey, 2.5 is better than my 1.7. So, we're good. All right. As I mentioned, we're doing this on the fly.
But real quick, getting back to answer that question, which I've been known to get off track.
Yes, you have.
They said, "You take it over," and I had the vision. Here we go, from Georgia. And Coach Lloyd and Coach Mock, and being in Georgia and being around those guys who are big time guys and big time baseball men, and then getting around Sammy Duns and William Booth and Dick Steed and Daryl Cooper, who was at Albertville, who went on to be a superintendent and just all kind of things outside of in the education system. But just I would go to a lawyer who does 501c3 and make us 501c3 to get more money. Had to rewrite our bylaws, and a lawyer did it in Montgomery who did 501c3 work. And I did the clinics. I had the vision to do clinics anyway. So God did that to me as far as the vision, because I didn't go into Coach Fletcher's clinics as a player, as a high school player. All these things I saw were just coming up, and I wanted to share that with everybody else. And I was doing the work, a lot of it already. So the guy said, "Barry, you do it." Plus, a lot of them were married, had kids, coaching more full time than me. Blah blah blah.
All right, here's what we're gonna do. Since we're doing this fly by the seat of your pants kind of thing. First of all, got another comment. So let's, sorry, I'm just joining. I knew I shouldn't listen in without having my shoes signed first.
No doubt.
Give us there's a story behind
Well,
the story
R-Hub.
there.
Well, R-Hub, guys, you got to give me a R-Hub who you are. You may have played for me. There's no litigation maybe going on, but everybody knows I'm big in shining shoes, leather shoes, Cincinnati Reds. You got to have all black shoes, all leather shoes. Ringer's only I think company still makes full leather shoes. And I'd have the guys shine their shoes with real shoe polish. You can't dab it on. Real shoe polish, shine it, and then get a cloth and buff it up. And, it's just discipline, as you know, military, but discipline. And Coach Riddle used to make them do it at Troy State back in the day. And he was a phenomenal baseball guy. I can carry his bag on my best day. But Coach Riddle was big on that. And if you had white shoelaces in your black shoes, Coach Riddle would send you home and or give you a few choice words with tobacco spit probably coming from his mouth. And love Coach Riddle. So I wasn't, and Julian Mott wore the red uniform. And so I was big into shining shoes as disciplined to this day. If I'm wearing coaching shoes, they'll be shined to a T at our showcases or the Miracle League. And the players did it. And I've had guys, want to assassinate me when they were playing for me. And they've come back with great joy and affection, usually, and laugh about it, but be proud about the shoe shine. Same as getting up and working out at 5:30 in the morning, or, same as same as even study halls. They're kind of proud they've gone through a system of structure and discipline, and they know now the coach loves them really for doing that, and he's not just being a jerk or whatever choice words you want to use.
By the way, our hub is Russ Huber.
Russ Huber. Oh, Russ. Thanks, Russ. I'll see Russ in August if he lets me come to his lake house. I won't have the all blacks that day, Russ. We have a little AUM gathering. Brad Holman's coming in town, who's one of the guys who played in the big leagues. One of the rare guys I played with who played in the big leagues. But Hube's a good people.
Okay, let's do some bullet points. I'm going to show you a picture, and in a fraction of a moment, give me the story behind the picture.
Yeah. Oh, geez. That's my saint on earth. My mom. That was when I received the Distinguished Service Award for the association. I actually turned that down a couple of times. I was honored. They asked me. We had so many people to honor who's helped the baseball or our association. But my mom had early dementia then. Still aware of everything. But I actually Mark Smart, I believe, was one of them, and then Ed Langham from Bevel and nominated me a couple of years in a row for Distinguished Service. So 2010. My mom passed in 2014 of cancer, but man, no doubt the biggest influence in my life. I'm a mama's boy, and B.R. Johnson. Woo! I still keep in touch with Coach Johnson. Chattahoochee Valley. I'm going off the top here. He founded the program in 75 till 99, 25 years, retired then. He had a radio show. He's got a great radio voice. It wasn't good at 6 a.m. when he was using choice words for us to run at Chattahoochee Valley. Coach Johnson and I still see each other. I'm kind of that keep in touch guy. I saw him Friday after Thanksgiving last year. I go see the Lesters, my cousin, who are a great baseball family there, Jimmy Lester and Joey and Josh Lester, who made the big leagues, Jimmy's son. But Coach Johnson and I had the Coke over there at Cracker Barrel on usually Fridays after Thanksgiving. He's still the same. Still a little older, but still ornery. Oh, my gosh. Oh, on the left on the screen's John McCarthy. He was a player at Troy when I was a graduate assistant, Johnny Mack. Threw the knuckleball, played for Tim Hulsey, played at South Alabama briefly with Louis Gonzalez and Mike Mordecai. Went to Enterprise, was an all-stater there. Then came to Troy, and I was a young GA, and he was an older player. We really, really bonded and played a lot of ping pong. He's in D.C., does a great baseball, very close. And Wayne Larker to the right, when you're looking at him to the right. Wayne, a lot of folks know him, Skip, Faulkner State. That was my first JUCO assistant job. Lucrative. I worked in a cardboard factory. So I don't want to act like I walked to school 10 miles in the snow uphill both ways, but I worked at a cardboard factory in Bay Minette and lived in a chiropractor's back room. Dude. And Wayne taught me, I learned more baseball from Wayne Larker from January to May because Brian McGill was helping him, who was an A-room player who had to finish his undergrad and couldn't do both. He was losing his mind, which Brian lost his mind, I think, in general. I went and helped Wayne And I learned more from Wayne from January to May or June in baseball than anybody probably on the planet. His dad was Norm Larker, a big leaguer, and he played for Stanky. Woo! And Wayne and I still keep touch. Joe Mason, of course. That's when I received the Distinguished Service Award. And Joe, legendary and major influence and just guider of my coaching career. I tried to get him to draft me. He said, Barry, I wouldn't draft you. Only way you're getting drafted if there's a third World War. Thanks, Joe.
You mentioned Mark Smart. Let's go to a comment from Mark.
Oh, yeah.
Tip of the cap to you, Barry. Congratulations on a great career. Your passion, commitment, and dedication to the Coaches Association was unmatched. And quite honestly, you built it from the ground up. Proud to call you a friend. Best of luck in your next endeavor.
Scrap, a.k.a. everybody knows him as Scrap. Coach Riddle, the championship team, 86, called Mark Scrap because he was so tough. Scrap iron, played second base. Went to West Alabama with Mark Hogan, took over for Mark Hogan when Coach Hogan went to SEMO, Southeast Missouri. And Mark gave me a famous line. Is I have hard, as people know, and a lot of people are like this, Robert. You're not probably, but these coaches are like this. OCD, controlling, we got to do everything, Well, I'm doing the association, running it, executive director. And it's at the All-Star event, Robert, where it's 175 degrees in Troy. Mm-hmm. You live streamed it for the last several years, done a phenomenal job. I'm putting the big white cooler for all the coaches and scouts because I want to be a great host, and I'm filling it up with ice and putting water in it so they can all get waters. This several years ago. And Mark goes, he goes, Barry, what are you doing, man? I said, Mark, I'm filling the cooler up with ice for the coaches. He goes, you're the executive director. I said, get one of these young guys to do that, and you shake hands when they come through the gate. And, I knew that, but he just hit me over the head with like a zinger. And from that point forward, I started getting more guys to help. We paid him a little bit. Casey Underwood will claim he was on food stamps. I think we know Casey's not on food stamps. Anyway, we got more guys doing things, and from that point forward, I shook a lot more hands and kissed babies. So thanks, Scrap. Scrap is Bobby Pierce was the head coach when we went there in 2005. Birmingham Southern in 2000 and 2004. Coach Shute was a phenomenal host. We put out for bid because I started running the association full time, and we had to pay my lucrative salary, almost as much as you make, Robert. And so we put out for bid, and Troy jumped on it because Dr. Hawkins, they want kids on that campus, boys state, girls state, Special Olympics, basketball regionals. They want you on that campus, and they knew our thing would be a good event. So they jumped on it with a great offer, and Herb Reeves, the dean of students, a dear friend of mine, been there 100 years. Herb was very instrumental in us being there. But Bobby Pierce, the head coach, then Mark, the assistant, then Mark, the head coach. They jumped on it first, and then we went to Herb, the dean of students, to help get us a little in-kind sponsorship from Sodexo. But Mark, a huge part, Bobby Pierce as well, of our success with that All-Star event. Huge. No doubt.
Got a video from a fellow near and dear to your heart, Randy Putman. How about this?
Yeah. I don't know who sent the...
Don't tell me this is the end. Lifers don't get out of baseball. So you're not going to be finished right here. You're still going to be involved somehow. But seriously, thank you for everything you've done for the state of Alabama. Thank you for all you've done for all these kids in the state of Alabama. And when it's all said and done with, let me have your fungos. Good luck to you, buddy. Love you. Thank you.
The fungos. You ain't touching my doggone fungos. They're going to put between the fanny pack and the fungos, you got to fight me. SSKs would, I've got about 10 different colored fungos, even purple. I'm getting into purple shirts, Robert. So that'll go with your Bee Gees music. Everybody knows my colored fungos and then my colored sanitaries. And we have, the wooden SSKs, baby. Randy, you can swing it. So he's a great hitter. Randy's a phenomenal hitter, and his kids can always hit at Hanceville. And Randy brings his kids out to the Coleman Miracle League when I ask him to, and I meet him up there. And Dana, his wife's a sweetheart. She just starts fights in the stands. Dana, will you quit starting fights in the stands? Dean Myrick is going through therapy for that. So I love Dana. She's a closet Catholic. I'll be there when you convert, Dana. And Randy, you're going to be with her. Anyway, Southern Baptist, but we got hope for you. You'll get some texts. You'll get some emails on that for sure.
Yeah, I do have a text, by the way, to Barry Dean. This is from Daniel Ballard. You know, he's an assistant coach down at South Walton now. Used to be. And Robert E. Lee, congratulations on a great career. Thank you for all the help with my players during my time in Alabama. The ALABCA is an awesome job for the state of Alabama baseball.
Daniel was he was like a student assistant at Troy, and very student of the game himself. So he's, I think it's South Walton is where Bobby Pierce is helping them, I think, raise some money and get the facility better. And Bobby, I think, has helped him coach a little bit in his retirement. And speaking of that, Randy, I'm going to hang out for the next year and be kind of consultant to Todd Watts, who's taking over. We'll hear from Todd a little later. And I'm going to still stick on the awards committee some, Randy, that you help out with. So I'm not totally gone, but I don't want to hang on, but I'm going to help out some. But yeah.
By the way, got a text from Johnny Johnson. He is on his way back from Belize.
Yes.
And I think he has stopped in the airport there in Miami. And I don't know if he's on the same pace that we are as far as internet goes, but Johnny came into the mix. At what point? How deep into your 29 years did Johnny
knows? You know me. There's a lot up here, and it's just bouncing around. Johnny, like 14, 15 years, I think. And you got a video from him, don't you?
I do.
I mean, since you're bringing, I'm trying to tempt. That's I figured you would be the player of that video. You want to go ahead and hit it now? You want to hit it now, and then I'll talk about it
now.
I can talk about Johnny for 4 hours.
Here we go.
Where do I begin with Barry Dean? Well, about 2005, I had left college baseball and taken a job at Fort Payne High School. And this guy walks into the gym during PE to introduce himself and give me one of his infamous folders from the Alabama Baseball Coach Association. Took me a couple of years to really grasp what the association was about. And, in 2008, I got to come to Troy for the first time and watch one of my players play in the All-Star event. And I was hooked at what the association was doing for players in our state, with him and the job he was doing to engage the coaches. And so 2009, I signed up to coach my first team in Troy, and I've been going back every summer since. And eventually in 2011 became a board member. And really, once I got into that position, started to realize how much Barry had done for our state, how much he had done for me personally, and just how in love he was with helping grow the sport in our state, helping really encourage coaches across the state, and really pouring into others. You look at the Miracle League work that he's done, and what a soft spot in his heart he has found for the Miracle Leagues around our state. And I would argue that there's probably not one other person in the state of Alabama that's done more for the game of baseball behind the scenes. Now, there's guys that have won more games as a coach. There's umpires that have umpired more games because, of course, we know he's done both. But I don't know that there's anybody that has poured more time and effort of their own soul into the game of baseball in this state over the last 25 plus years. And Barry is one of those guys that is unique in that sense. There's nobody that will be able to take his place and do what he's done. I just think that, there will be a collection of people that have to pick up and move forward with this association. And that is a testament to what he's done over the years. He has become a dear, dear friend, not only to me, he has become a dear friend to my wife and my son. And we look forward to watching what he builds with the Catholic Coaches Association moving forward. But he's one of a kind. BD, I love you, buddy. I appreciate everything you've done, and I just look forward to seeing what you're going to build next.
Man, it's got a little teary-eyed, just a little touch, but yeah. I mean, Greg Thacker. I'm bringing that name from everywhere. I didn't ask him to do a video. Greg Thacker and I went duck hunting. Greg Thacker, Georgia Dugout Club coach, who worked at camp in Georgia when I went Georgia coming back again, Coach Mock and Coach Lloyd. He worked that camp. We became friends. He lived over by Rome, Georgia, Cartersville, Georgia. Thack, I call him. We kept touch all these years. I'm that keep touch guy. We go duck hunting in Section, Alabama. And about that time, January 31st, last day, I meet him up there, and we go in the water out in dark. You know, before the ducks get up, you got to get out there early, and you're freezing your fanny off. And we duck hunt that day, and I stay an extra day, and I hit all those towns. I'm from Montgomery, but as I'm running the association, I was starting to do it full time then, 04 and 05. I hit all those towns, Fort Payne being the mecca of a town up that way, Sylvania, Geraldine, Fife, Section, all North Sound Mountain. I mean, Wade Daniels passed away several years ago. He came to our convention every year. He was at Geraldine or Sylvania back in, man, phenomenal guy. This little walked in the weight room and the kids were lifting and he was barking at them. Great guy. And he couldn't believe I was in Sylvania and Geraldine, wherever I was at both of them, but whichever one I went to. But I walked in. I went to Fort Payne school and high school. And where's coach? Where's your baseball coach? Well, he's at the rec center because he's an elementary school PE teacher. So I go to the rec center where Greg Conkle was running. And his kids ended up coming through our really good players. I think one of them played pro ball or whatever. Both of them played college ball. Greg was running the Parks and Rec director. But I walk into the gym, find the PE coach, who's Johnny Johnson, and all the little rugrats running around. I have one of my notepads. I got 7,000 notepads, people know, left over, and give it to him and start talking to him and just invite him to be a part. And that's kind of it. And then you're right. A couple years later, he comes on board, and I mean, hands down, I can say more about him than probably he said. I know he said some great stuff about me, but he has helped me more than anybody with this association. Technology-wise, I'm like Jake from State Farm. Luckily, his wife knows who I am, and she loves me. I love her, Jerry, and she's a great coach's wife. She's a elementary school teacher. I text him late at night. How do you do this on the phone, or how do you do this on Google, or how do you do this? But he's helped me keep this thing current, along with Casey Underwood and Brandon Ware and Blake Lewis, guys like that. But he's helped me keep this stuff current, and he has done a lot of great work with our association and behind the scenes, helping me make it what it is, along with a lot of other folks. But he's been my right-hand guy, as everybody knows. The toughest thing is, once I was stepping out of this thing, I had finally convinced the association to get me a truck, not me, but a company truck, because we were pulling Game of the Week trailer behind it, and I didn't want to take my Tundra. So I showed them we had extra money, which I brought in. I mean, I don't want to be selfish, but I've kind of brought this money in. We had extra money. So I convinced them to get me what I wanted to get was a Tundra, right, Robert? Another Tundra. Because I love Toyota. Sorry, not getting any commission off that. And I got a 24 Tundra. And so when I knew I was getting out, the new year comes this year, and it's getting closer, and Johnny's Chevrolet is just going to pieces. I mean, hey, Toyota's the big leagues. Let's go. So he talks to the board. They're going to get rid of my Tundra, the ALABCA Tundra, when I'm gone. So Johnny kind of asked for me, could he go ahead and buy it? Because he's going to buy it. The board's going to let him buy it. So he repos my board. And I call it repoing. That's what he says buy. I say repo before my contract term to come out at the end of July, like May the 1st. So great friend, but he repoed the Tundra. No, Johnny.
I got a couple of texts. I'm not sure I want to read one of them. This one, though, from Blake Lewis at Gadsden State, talking about Blake. Thanks, Barry, for all you've done for the state of Alabama baseball, and me personally for the life lessons, the coaching lessons, and how to order your pancake lessons. You are a legend. Now, is the pancake with a little sprinkles?
Yeah. Trent Mongero, he actually videoed that one time. I'm a little psychotic when I order at the Cracker Barrel. I don't eat out breakfast that much, or I would weigh 400 pounds. I'll eat lunch or dinner, but at the Cracker Barrel. But when I eat breakfast at the Cracker Barrel, I get a little wacky. Wayne Larker is going through therapy because we've eaten at the Cracker Barrel many times for breakfast in Spanish Fort. But I should have had Trent send that video in of me ordering, because he wanted to video that. And after I did it one time, normally he goes, "You got to redo that," and I'm gonna video it. And I did, being a glutton for punishment. Blake.
Okay. Now I got Casey Underwood on the record talking about that pancake stuff and more.
Really?
Here's his comments.
Oh yeah, I know you guys.
Barry Dean retiring, man. It's a great thing for the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association. hopefully now more coaches will join now that they know that they'll get paid more than $100 or a barbecue sandwich. The sad thing is the stock market for Arby's is going to go down because Barry Dean is still the only one that buys us Arby's sandwiches at 75 of them at a pop. So, expect Arby's to close down anytime soon. But high school coaches, if you want to get involved in camps, now's the time to do it. Barry's gone, and there's a good chance that we can add more money and actually pay coaches for coming to the camps. And it'll be absolutely amazing. We won't have to work for the association. Maybe the association will start working for us. And, we look forward to that. And I also like to apologize to every Waffle House waitress that Barry ever came in and made them sprinkle his pecans around his waffle. But with that being said, Barry, I hope you enjoy your Subaru and enjoy your rides around the world.
Casey, he he didn't talk about the Miracle League, I guess.
He will.
Okay. Oh, you're breaking his up.
Yes. We've got more from Casey.
His is going to kind of be like indigestion, where it kind of starts out.
No,
and then
I won't classify it as indigestion.
We will not. Don't even. We got to keep this.
Speaking of something that could give me a little heartburn, Steve Helms, as a matter of fact, he included you on the text. Did you see where he said, y'all are starting to look alike?
Hold it.
That's painful for me. I don't know about you. Good job of the show, though. And Barry, you deserve more than a show. Congrats. Steve Helms, talk about legendary. I can't remember who I was talking to just recently, and they were talking about Steve Helms.
Let me tell you something. Let's just we'll take the gloves off talking about Steve Helms. Plus, Casey's making six figures now. He tries that like he's not, but he actually bought me Waffle House when I was up there recently. And I told him when I do the Catholic Coaches Association, I'm gonna be a poor beggar, Catholic beggar. So he'd like to really treat me then. But Steve Helms, I helped him. I will say this: I've been fired from 2 jobs. Okay. That's like holding the first clinic at Montgomery Catholic with 2 people. If I had quit then doing clinics, Robert, I lost track as I usually do. But if I had quit doing clinics after 2 people showed up when Bama and South Alabama played in the final in the March Madness, the first game together, I would have never done this association if I'd been crushed and quit and had to go back to mom and dad and hit restart on the video every time. Steve Helms, I was fired. I wasn't fired. A rare time I wasn't fired. But I was Alabama Southern interim, and they didn't hire me as a full-time coach. They hired Mike Jeffcoat, a great guy, great coach too. But I busted so many chops when I got in there, it scared the president, who we won't get into that. But anyway, so Steve said, hey, man, if you need somewhere to put your hat, you come over here. And no one, honestly, I had a bunch of friends, but no one really called me. Steve called me and said, hey, I got a spot for you if you need to light for a year. And I mean that. I told him that before. I really respected him doing that. And I went down there, and let me tell you something. I got fired for different, like running a tight ship, shoe shine, clean hair, but I was kind of, but Jabbo does that in his sleep. And Randy Putman, we ain't gonna get. I love my JUCO guys, but these guys are nuts. But they had better records and better longevity, sustainability than my first year of getting whacked for doing something, and the kid gets hurt and calls mommy or gets his feelings hurt. Steve Helms, he runs them hard in the summer. He runs them hard in August, and man, I'm gonna tell you, I remember Jacob Honnold in the fetal position. Jacob Holmes, he ran. If you didn't die for a ball, I learned some things from Steve. So he's had a great program down there, and he's been very supportive of me. And Brandon Ware, his assistant's been very supportive, helping with our association and our regional workouts. When we did the regional workouts, Brandon's one of the leaders of that, along with Blake and Casey in the north and Brandon in the south. And but we had a great time live streaming last year down there with LBW, and we always do. And Steve's been a great friend. Whenever I've needed him to play, when I did the junior college fall thing, he'd play whenever I needed him to play, and didn't have to play at a certain time or some guys had to play certain days because of school, but Steve was always accommodating, and he really picked me up when I was at one of my lowest times coaching. So you remember that when people reach out to you when you kind of been kicked to the curb. So appreciate it, Steve.
Speaking of Steve, by the way, I remember the tie. It was with Butch Thompson. Now, what is the tie? I know that Butch and Steve, did Steve first recruit Butch Thompson, or
I think so.
what's the tie there?
Steve would probably text that in. Butch was at Huntington as well, briefly as a coach. Coached at Jeff State, and he won the state title at Jefferson State Community College in Birmingham. But Butch coached briefly at Huntington. I don't know if Steve was still there helping Coach Schartzer. But
I know Steve's name came up in an interview with Butch Thompson recently, so that's how I knew there was a tie. While we're talking about Butch, let's listen to his words of wisdom on Barry Dean.
Yeah.
Hey guys, this is Butch Thompson, head baseball coach of the Auburn Tigers here, and I'm just thankful to have a moment to be able to recap and look back at the contributions that Barry Dean made to the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association. And as a junior college coach, where I first met Barry a long time ago, I'll spare the date, but seeing him compete as a young coach and then seeing him really find his niche of taking over and assuming the executive director of the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association. I don't think there could have been a better person all of these years to lead this organization, to rally, connect with coaches from Huntsville to Mobile and side to side, east to west. Done a remarkable job. And what I'll think about Barry is his love of baseball, number one, and his relentless passion, and how many countless high school players that he served to help provide opportunities to continue to grow the game of baseball. Our convention, our yearly convention of having speakers from all over the country, his relentless passion was part of every piece and fabric of that, to get coaches to come work. Sometimes we have so much going on, but I've always seen it as a coach in our state, there's a responsibility to give back. Barry's relentless passion always rallied us, made us, stayed after us, and it was always to the benefit of the game of baseball and the young people that were growing up in our state. So the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association is widely respected around the country, and I think it's because of Barry's relentless passion. Thank you, Barry, for your love of the game, for your love of young people, for always rallying and trying to make this game better for the coaches in the state of Alabama. So big War Eagle to you from Auburn, but love you, brother. Thank you for all you've done.
Wow, dude! I didn't pay him. Look, I bought him lunch at Hamilton's last year in around the Morris Mill area, which is one of my favorite restaurants on the planet. Although I'm way out of the tax bracket there. Let's don't kid ourselves. But man, Butch is gracious to everybody, so I can't take that too personally. But with we may be one of the most respected, but also have restraining orders from some people. Jack Leggett, I stopped in his office at Clemson 3 times going up Interstate 85. I drove off at Anderson, South Carolina, went to Clemson's baseball office, and asked him face to face to come speak at our convention, and he wouldn't do it. Lame duck. I'm on the way out. I nailed down Jay Johnson to be the first speaker, LSU National Championship coach. Wednesday, December 10th, Alabama baseball coaches, don't go deer hunting. Okay, don't go deer hunting.
Come to Birmingham.
Tell your wife ahead of time and get your butt to Birmingham to hear Jay Johnson, and always get our coaches in the state to speak. I don't leave them out, but I am proud of getting guys from around the country. Don Slaughts and Brett Butler, the big leaguer, and Gordy Gillespie, the absolute legend, passed away a few years. Coach till he was upper 80s or 90 till the day he died, probably. And Keith Madison's, Mark Johnston, Jerry Kendall, the legend from Arizona, passed away a few years ago. Pat McMahon, Dusty Rhodes, outside the state. Guys go to the national convention in our state, and they should, but then they need to come to ours too, because many times this has been said, we have a good or better lineup as a national convention. Because our state coaches are some of the best. I am proud of helping getting Chris Heaps to speak on the national level, and Lee Hall, they had the goods, but they gave such great talks at our clinic convention. I told the ABCA if they need a great high school speaker on this topic, no matter on the main stage, but they need high school coaches speaking there. And Chris and Lee have both spoken at the national convention, did just outstanding jobs. So Butch is Butch goes to Billy Bob High School or a big high school, nowhere high school, big school, and he will talk at their kickoff dinner. He'll talk at their closing dinner. If his Robin, his wife, it is phenomenal. She's got to sign off on it, and number one, and then he goes. And a lot of big time coaches won't do that. And Butch go around the country to speak. Some coaches won't come to Bama to speak because they can't recruit here, and they'll tell me that. And I say, hey, I appreciate you being honest. But Butch will go anywhere because he's a diplomat of the game, like Ron Polk, the master of all diplomats. And Butch does it. And he was at the front door at Stanhope Elmore several years ago, and I went to the dinner just to sit in the audience. And he was at the front door when they walked in at Stanhope Elmore, shaking hands with every parent that walked in and kid that walked in. So he's genuine. He's the real deal. It's an honor he has supported me personally, our association, baseball in this state and in this country. And, when Rob Murphy got the job, Rob Vaughn got the job at Alabama. This is live, so we can't cut that. But when Rob got the job at Alabama, we talked and I congratulated him. He said he's going to support our association. And he asked me, he goes, why is Auburn getting more in-state guys than Alabama? I said, well, Butch Thompson. Mm-hmm. He goes here, he goes there. He supports our association. He or his assistant speak every time. Every time we ask him to speak at our convention, he sends someone to the August showcase in Birmingham. Himself, he will come to it. Butch will. Not send some, guys just out of college who has an AU on his thing and he's a fifth, number 10th assistant. Butch will come himself or send Gabe Gross or Carl Nonamaker. He just doesn't send the lowest guy. And there have been the lower guys have come, and that's fine. But Butch is just a lot of D1 guys don't do that. When I met Jay Johnson last spring, I was down there. I gave a talk to the LSU sport management kids. They were that desperate. And I said, Butch, will you send me Jay Johnson's number? I want to go meet him. He sent me his number. I text him, said, Jay, I'm in town. I'd love to come meet you. He said, yeah, come by practice. And when I said that Butch and I were good friends and he gave me his number, he goes, I'll stop here with Butch, but he goes, Butch is too nice of a guy to be an SEC coach. He goes, a lot of them are not like that. He goes, Butch Thompson is. Anyway, and that's from one of the best coaches in the country. So,
all right, let's go into the chat room for a couple of comments, and one of them's got to have your response because, again, there's something behind this.
Dale Cox. These are my teammates. I don't even know if I sent them. Wait, my friends and family. I sent the link to Robert. I shouldn't have. Then my friend. Oh, Dale Cox is hilarious. You're still wearing flip flops when you take a shower. I was hoping. Oh man, this is we're getting off of ALABCA.
Should I even ask?
We're getting off. No, Dale and I went to college and Russ Huber at AUM, and we were out there in the dorm. And college, man, how you clean the shower once every 10 months, so it's like fungus in the shower. So I'm like wearing flip flops in the shower. I mean, I wore flip flops in when I went to the Dominican Republic. I got some crazy. I went to the Dominican Republic like in 1992, and then Wayne Larker called me literally in late January to take over. Oh, the Dominican right there. That's some of my faith ministry. They had a Catholic mass guide in Spanish, and I had one of the Spanish kids who was fluent in English read after me. Anyway, in the Dominican, I'd wear flip flops in the shower. I spent a month at the Dodgers complex in 1992. Ralph Avila let me come down there. Ralph Avila, the guru of the Dominican. I learned the Dodgers way of baseball. And then Wayne needed me late in January instead of in the fall when I was going to come back. It's all coming out now. And I'd wear flip-flops in the shower in the Dominican.
But there is no video footage to verify.
No.
Okay, good.
Anyway,
right, here's more. Congrats, BD. What a career. The impact you've had on players, coaches, families, and communities is simply incalculable. I am grateful to have been in your path during the AUM days in the years since.
Ryan is Russ's brother, and I may see y'all in August, guys. I'm not in their tax bracket, but hopefully they'll let me come. They'll neither of you. We're dead meat if they won't let us poor guys come up there to the Lake Martin. But the AUM guys. I roomed with Steve. We're getting off. I roomed with Steve Fussell my junior year at AUM. He was from Columbus, and talk about a different tax bracket. He bought an extra car, Robert, up your kind of like the Jock Jive van. He's in Austin, he buys companies and flips them, and he bought like a Maserati just because he wanted one. So
Wow.
I've got a heavy foot. I got a heavy foot in my Tundra and now my Subaru for the Catholic Coaches Association to run around in. And that Maserati, I would get they'd throw me in jail in that thing. So AUM guys, Coach Lowe, special people. Marty Loverick, saw him at the convention yesterday. Enterprise almost went undefeated this year.
Wow.
Got beat in the finals just by Tuscaloosa County. But Marty's a magician on the baseball field, a long time assistant at AUM under Coach Lowe, and then took over. So the near and dear guys, Dale Cox played there. So appreciate those guys chiming in. And we're getting off track of the ALABCA.
Hey, it's an Adios Barry show, so we
No
can get
doubt,
off
no
track.
doubt. He's yeah. You better watch some of those AUM, screen the AUM stuff for sure.
All right, some more bullet points on pictures. This is the one I really want to get. What in the heck?
Casey Underwood has that on his phone. He loves it. I spoke at the national convention. Steve Smith at Baylor was the guy who got the speakers. And who I know, like the third vice president of the ABCA or the second vice president, they get the speakers for the next year, second or third vice president. And I told Steve one time, I said, look, Steve was at Mississippi State as the assistant and went to Baylor as a head guy. And I worked his camp and knew him. And I got him to Bama to speak. And speaking at our convention, I said, Steve, if you ever need a speaker, I know you're going to be at the bottom of the barrel if you ask me, but I would love to give a talk on player and coach umpire relationship because I'm not that smart. Everybody knows that, but I've been to the Harry Wendelstedt umpire school in 2000, umpired Division I, umpired high school ball. But after that, I umpired Division I, Division II, JUCO, NAIA baseball. And I've, coached technically Division I assistant at Troy, Division II assistant at Troy and Erskine College and JUCO ball and even high school ball. Not that any of it was any good, but so I had that perspective. So Steve's gave in, what's it called? Relented. Anyway, I'm missing that word, but said, hey, come on, let's do it. Yeah, Barry, I'll use you. He put me on the Sunday graveyard shift, Sunday morning, when the guys stumble in there and they think it's the shuttle to the airport and they're drunk from Saturday night, the last night, full night of the clinic.
So you're saying that was the crowd behind you? That
was at the Montgomery Renaissance when I went ahead and put the uni on to take another picture a couple years after, and I had to go on a diet to wear it. But I spoke in Orlando at the World Marriott 2007, the first time to give this talk, and it's Sunday morning. I never will forget it. I was surrounded by like Ruth and Garrig's, Cooper Ferris from Mississippi Gulf Coast spoke before me, and the Williams brothers, who are legendary, Todd and Greg. At the time, Emory Riddle, who spoke after me. On Sunday morning, where we have 4 or 5 speakers, it's a graveyard shift, and there's 5,000 coaches at the convention. That morning, there's 500 in there, and over half of them are hungover. And they're waiting on the free coffee in the outside in the lobby, and they stumble in and watch you talk. So, but player, coach, umpire, and I am creative, Robert. You know that. I mean, with a T-shirt cannon, I don't know if you pulled any of that video with a T-shirt. AUM guys don't know I have a T-shirt cannon. Maybe I'll bring that up to the lake, guys, in August, and I'll shoot T-shirts for you.
Shoot it across the lake if you got the right one.
I got the mama figured out, I think, but the 300-footer. But anyway, so I had in my mind that outfit, the player coach. I go to a tailor in Montgomery on Vaughn Road, Asian, hardly speak English, but she could tailor. They said she's one of the best in town. And I go in there and I say, hey, and I'm kind of doing sign language and making things because she couldn't fully understand me. It was that could have been videoed. I said, I need this cut in half. And then the hat I had on was just an umpire hat. I think it laid over the Lawson State, and I was at Lawson. And we shot a video. The woman there, Robert, I know you're a pro at Lawson State, was our media teacher from Alabama. They hired her at Lawson. And I have a script, Bevel of Summerton at the time, Ed Langham. They've closed their program down. Bevel Summerton, they're still Bevel Fayette. Bevel Summerton, Ed sent me half his team in uniform. This is like in December before Christmas break. And I had 2 umpires from Birmingham, Division I umpires, Eddie Loggins and Ricky. I forget his last name, but in full umpire uniform. And I had the script written out, the outline that we were going to use, the the videos. She brought out a ladder. She brought a ladder out there to shoot some top shots, and we film. It's like a Hollywood film setup, and that umpire, the outfit. So when I walked out in 07 onto the stage, the guys that were there, I was walking through the lobby at the Royal Marriott because I was going to give the talk, and guys were looking at it like, holy smokes, what is this? So my talk may have been bad. The video was phenomenal because it's like a movie. All the scenes were shot. She faded it in and came to PowerPoint, but the scenes were just Hollywood, the way it faded in, and the sound and the camera work and the clarity and then I spoke 2 more times on that, 2013 and 2020 in COVID. We spoke up in North Carolina at the ABCA office in the studio, which I thought I was back at Orlando because there's only 4 people in that studio watching me. So I kind of felt the same as I was in 07.
Now, I got a text this, and I'll let them stay anonymous, at least at the moment. Says, you sure that wasn't when you got snowed in the Nashville convention?
Oh, stop.
Hashtag stroking.
That's Blake Lewis. That's Blake Lewis. Oh man, we're getting off the ABC. I don't go out that much at the ABCA. I stay in the hotel. I talk to coaches in the lobby all night, and oh man, that was in Nashville, and we went out a Saturday night in Nashville. Of course, it's always every 4 or 5 years the ABCA is at Opryland. It's a big hit, huge crowd. And we went out downtown, and we were Daniel Fruto may have sent you that text. Who's at Abilene, I think Abilene Christian now, but Blake Lewis and I and Daniel and I forget who else. And we go to Tootsie's, the famous Tootsie's. And it's cold, man. This is first week of January. It's blistering cold. So we're in line, and Daniel Fruto's got his sixth grade T-shirt on. He likes wearing small shirts, Robert, with kind of like you, but you got a little better bill maybe. But anyway, and Blake and someone else is with us. Blake, anyway, it is freezing. So we're in line at Tootsie's. I'm not a big line guy, but this is Tootsie's. So there's a girl in front of me who's close to my age, and they're kind of behind me. And I just, I'm friendly. I started a conversation with her, and we get in there, and we go toward the dance floor, and that's it. She's there, and I do like to dance. People know that. People who know me, I like to dance, and I'm sober when I do it. So I'm accountable. And we get in there, and I find her. We go straight back to the top floor. I think it's 2 floors. We go back to the top, and there's a band jamming. If you're in Nashville, you're not a slouch. If you're in Nashville, if you're in Tootsie's, you're not a slouch. Oh, yeah. Anywhere on Broadway, you're not a slouch. Wherever you play in Nashville, so this band's jamming, and man, I love some rock and roll. And I start dancing with this girl, and it's fun. We danced a long time. She kept dancing. Anyway,
why do I feel like there's more to the story? We're just going to have to stop it there because
it did snow. It did snow. Nothing happened. They want to they kept thinking something may have happened, and it did not happen beyond dancing. Did not. Nothing to go confession about. Anyway, but she was very attractive, and we danced a lot. This guy, this, everybody knows I've got energy. There's a guy by the dance floor, and we danced. This girl kept dancing. I wasn't going to stop, and there's good music, and we were all over the floor, just having fun. And this guy, everybody's around the floor so tight, and I'm dancing, and this guy, I'm kind of by the outside. And this guy goes, "Hey man, are you on 5 Hour Energy?" I said, "Bro, it's natural. It's all natural." That was so.
You are the poster child from Red Dog or whatever it is. Red whatever.
I never will forget that. He goes, "You on 5 Hour Energy?" I said, "Bro, it's natural. I can't."
Why do I feel like we need to bring maybe a priest in at this point?
It's not.
So why don't let's go to a video?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mark Jackson.
Hey, this is Mark Jackson, and I have the privilege this morning to talk about a very dear friend of mine named Barry Dean. Barry is the executive director of the Alabama Baseball Association, but he is going to be stepping down because he feels in his heart that God has called him to ministry, a Christian ministry for athletes in the Catholic faith. He's a devoted Catholic. And that's one of the things that created our great friendship, as I'm a retired pastor and an ex-baseball coach. So we connected on that level. But one of the things I admire about Barry in his 25 years as the executive director and 29 total with the association is when he was in charge, there was never an event. There was never a conference. There was never a banquet. There was never a game of the week, or when he had hot stove baseball clinics going online during COVID. Everything that Barry did, he incorporated his spiritual faith in. And I was blessed many times to be able to give devotions when Tom Glavine spoke, or devotions when Will Clark spoke, or Andre Dawson spoke. It was very important to him that he offered some spiritual truths to the coaches that he was so dearly fond of. So it's a real privilege to come on here and say, Barry, congratulations for being so excellent in what you do. You will be missed, but you will be prayed for as you go into your new ministry. And there's not a person that loves baseball in the state of Alabama, not one person that doesn't know the impact, the incredible impact you had in this state for anybody that was involved in baseball. You are a difference maker and a dear friend.
I just thought it was appropriate, I mean, you may need to go to confession with Mark.
But yeah, Blake Lewis just texted me. He number one, Mark Jackson. Blake, that fanny pack, that fanny pack is out to fly off the wall. Is out to fly off the wall. Blake, I'll get him up in Gadsden. We need to live stream a game next year up there.
Well, and we need to also get more input from Blake, from Casey. I got a feeling there's other stories that we need.
Brandon, there is a karaoke story from Brandon Ware in Ozark, Alabama. There's a karaoke story. There's video on that.
I saw Brandon this weekend. I wish I'd known.
Blake's got video of the dancing, I think. Blake, don't send it in.
Okay, we need to get to somebody else then to try to kind of distract you.
More they got push-up videos too. But they challenged me on push-ups, and I was like, I can't do that many, but I don't know. But anyway, so Mark Jackson, man, I'm gonna tell you, he is a spiritual brother from he's phenomenal. He is I have a spiritual director. We'll show his picture later on, Father Paul Zogby down in Foley, and he's at the seminarian gala in an apron, because all the priests serve at the seminarian gala to raise money for seminarians. But Mark has been my Protestant spiritual director, and I've shared with him some deep things and intimate things and things I struggle with, and making the decision to leave the ALABCA and go to the Association of Catholic Coaches and Athletes. But even personal struggles, y'all know this, coaches know this. Who you kidding? And when you're a leader I'm leading the association. Coaches are leading teams, or they're doing stuff on campus, even being leaders on campus and things they're doing. And I've had battles with anxiety, insecure sometimes about what am I doing, or is this right? And I'm just serving. I'm not governing like Dean Myrick or Steve Savarese with the AHSAA. They're who's kidding who? They're governing, but coaching you're governed, but still serving. I've loved doing it. But Mark has been a guy, a true brother, and who's helped a lot of impacted thousands of coaches and players in this state and beyond with his faith messages. He's an incredible ability, as everybody knows, to tie baseball and faith. He's like John Ed Matheson, one of his all-time mentors at Frazier. John Ed's still preaching, upper 80s, I think. Great sports guy, John Ed. Mentored Mark, and great. And Robert, you've seen many of Mark's talks because you filmed them, but great spiritual talks, including baseball and faith. And Mark I love him. He knows that. We've talked often still. I see him when I can in Birmingham, and he may pick up the Miracle League calls and help go around the state. That's not official. If we keep the dinner going, which I want to see keep going, and Todd Watts wants to keep going, keep that Miracle League first pitch dinner going, then Mark may help out with getting coaches to go around the state to volunteer. So,
okay, when you mention a name, I want to go to a video. So you mentioned the name of Steve Savarese. So let's go to that conversation with
Please
Steve.
do. Please do.
Well, good morning, and it's my privilege this morning to have the opportunity to discuss the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association and its leader, Barry Dean. Barry and I got to know each other as when I was executive director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association, and I met this person who came to my office that had tremendous passion for student athletes, especially those who participate in the sport of baseball. Barry started the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association, and the professionalism he demonstrated within that organization, providing educational athletic opportunities, not only for students, but coaches and supporters as well, to me was the example that so many other coaches associations should follow. Is I would talk to coaches who wanted to start a basketball coaches association, a soccer coaches association. My go-to guy would always be Barry Dean. And I would ask those individuals to work with Barry because I thought he had a tremendous template for what a coaches association should be. You know, I do know Barry is retiring from the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association. And while there'll be another person who will do a very good job, Barry Dean is the foundation for that coaches association. He is the fabric of that coaches association, and he has done a tremendous job. It was my honor and privilege to work with Barry. Many times there'd be a little baseball situation that would come up in the state, and Barry was always available. I'd pick up the phone and I'd call Barry and say, Barry, we had a problem down at this area here. And Barry was always the person of reason. And he would make individuals, even myself, see both sides. And we would not have the quality of baseball in this state that we have today without Barry Dean. Unquestioned, the athletes that we have going to college playing in the professionals had an advantage because of the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association under the leadership of Barry Dean. Barry Dean made a difference, and I'm proud not only to call him a friend, but a colleague, and have had the opportunity to work with him.
I'll say this, Coach Savarese, Coach Steve Savarese is, I know when he was in office, you know, the baseball coaches griped every day, could gripe every day about him or the HSAA or this or that. Or, you know, I always told him, and Coach Savarese and I have really become close. He's on my board for the Association of Catholic Coaches and Athletes. And I've talked with him many times about our association and just leadership. I think he's a great leader, and did an unbelievable job with the HSAA from where they went. Coach Washburn did an amazing job, but Coach Savarese took him to another level. I think media-wise and technology-wise, sponsorship-wise, you talk about bringing in money. Holy smokes! And all those, and I know very professional, and but Coach Sav has done all that, and he's just been a huge resource for me. But you know, I would tell the guys, we had breakfast with Coach Savarese at the Marriott when our convention was there all those years, and Johnny Johnson, Shane Carnes, Lee Gann, maybe Adam Mosley, but all those guys are there. I kind of rallied. I kind of that's me. I put the meeting together. We're eating breakfast. And then they're shooting things. And Coach Savarese knew it. They're going to shoot things at him. Hey, can we get more practice time in the fall? Maybe 50% rule. If they're not playing football, can they do their sport in the fall? And Coach Savarese goes, there will never be more than 2-on-1 in the fall. Never. I'm telling you. And this is not a knock against him, but it was like, and this is where my reason came in. I said, guys, that can change. I said, he's saying that's his opinion. But if we keep knocking as an organization, there are things we can make a difference. No one's ever really done it in this state that I know of, a concerted professional effort, writing letters to principals and ADs, but to having principals put it on the thing in February for changes on the website proposals. And we kept knocking on stuff like that. And I'm sure football came in somewhere and one wanted to change too, because football rules the state as it should and always will. But now we have full-blown out of season work. And during the school year, if you're not in season, like with football, you can have your guys in the fall now. So I always said, don't just say go with the status quo. Let's be professional. Let's keep knocking. And I'd put bugs in Coach Savarese's or Alvin Briggs or whomever's ear. That we can make changes. It just takes a little knocking on the door, that old persistence and that old passion, and doing it the right way. And they said we'll never get region play. And region play passed a couple years ago, bad thought out by us and the coaches because it took up too much of the season. So they've got to think of a way. But they said at one time, Coach Sav said it's going to be hard to get region play with baseball. And they approved it a couple years ago. We pushed for it. It wasn't well thought of on how to make the schedule not just be eaten up with region play and have to start too early. The other thing we'll say, I think do you have a Bobby Sproul video ready?
I do. As a matter of fact, why don't we do a couple of coaches and
we will.
First, and then Coach J.D. Pruitt.
I know we're getting longer, which it's hard to figure that. But Coach talked about me being professional. Bobby may not talk about this, but he's seen me act. I had one of my all-time classic umpire tirades in the third base box one time that combined my dancing skills and some of my crazy thoughts toward umpires, and I did it during a game when we were playing at Lawson at Shelton. Anyway, go ahead and hit. It wasn't real professional dancer. Go ahead, hit Bobby for me.
I've known Barry Dean for 30 years, and there's not a better person in the game of baseball. And the one thing about Barry, they always say if you go to a ballpark, you'll see something you've never seen before. And in the 60 years that I've been around the game of baseball through youth league, and there's only one Barry Dean. The stuff he's been able to do and the shows he can put on during a game, I'll never forget the day he got mad at umpires and called them Mickey and Minnie Mouse and started doing the dance. But Barry's a unique individual, and I hate to see him leave. He's done more for the state of Alabama in baseball with the Alabama's Coaches Association. He's meant more to the state as far as baseball goes just because of his association and getting everybody together, and to find a guy that can replace that guy with the energy he had, the ability to take a no and never quit. What a job he's done, and we'll never replace him. And that, I'm not trying to offend somebody that tries to, but there'll never be another Barry Dean as far as the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association and what he's done. It's been a pleasure knowing Barry. 99% of the time I talk to Barry, it's a positive. About 1% we'll have one of those things where he sees it one way and I see it another way. But it's always for the good of baseball, whichever way we talk. And even though he's going to back down as the chief, he's still going to be an Indian. So we'll see him around, and he'll do a great job. And the people of Alabama ought to be thankful that Barry Dean has been running this show for 20 years. Barry, I hope you have a great retirement. I know this isn't going to be a retirement for you, but you've earned it. Nobody could do what you've done. Thanks and good luck.
That is, he taught. See, I did not know he was going to do that.
It, yeah.
The umpire, I did like a crazy dance, and I said, like, I don't know half what comes out of my head, but I said, there's Mickey and Minnie. Where's Goofy? And I was dancing. And I did this crazy dance, at third base box. And Bobby and Brett Kimbrell, who's in East Mississippi now, they will never, ever, ever forget that. And
now, were you a Lawson State coach at the time?
Oh yeah. I was at Lawson and just battling that in general and trying to kind of clean the program up. And we actually beat them one game. Bobby, real quick, Robert, where's the chat bar? League Ann just text. Where's the chat bar? How can they put a chat real quick?
Go into the chat room and just there is at the bottom of the page. You can chat or put a comment, and
at the bottom of the page it says chat or something.
Well, when you're on YouTube, it's right there. Yeah, bottom of the page on the YouTube player. And by the way, if they want to text me, 334-488-1385, 334-488-1385. Text me. I'll read it or put it in the chat room and I'll post it.
At 334-488.
1385.
All right, beautiful. And the other thing, and we'll move on. I was umpiring one of Bobby's games before Lawson. Before I got to Lawson, I was umpiring one of his games, and Bobby's had phenomenal pitching. He's a big league pitcher, former big leaguer. He always has great pitching. It's the first inning. I've got the home, and home plate was my strength of balls and strikes. In the field, I was okay, but I was a better probably home plate balls and strikes. I'm proud of that. But I mean, and people kind of, I think, they told me that. But first inning, like the first breaking ball this kid throws of his guys, it's a sharp breaking ball, broke late, outside corner strike. It's nasty. For like the second pitch the kid threw, and I call it a ball. And Bobby is barking, man, Barry, where is that? I said, Bobby, let me get loose. I just missed one. I said, come on, man. But he just, I was like, I just missed it, man. First one of the game. That's nasty. Anyway, but I love Bobby. Let me tell you, he is a big leaguer. He's won, I think, more state titles than anybody JUCO in this state. They won another one this year. You know, Bobby and Randy are the same. They're gruff. They're old school. They both won a lot of titles. Bobby more than Randy, I think. Bobby's had more. Randy's had more big leaguers play for him. The Kimbrells and the Rhodes, Derek Holland, and some other guys. Elmore, J.K. But I've really gotten to know both of them all these years, and they got great hearts. They got great passion. They still do it. They're old as dirt. If they're older than me, they've got to be old as dirt. And they still love it. I don't know if they're going to retire. I hope they don't retire. Steve Helms is on the verge of jumping off the cliff every year. But those three guys being the older guys, when the Wayne Larkers and other guys have gone on. And Bobby's been a huge supporter of mine, and he may bark and he may growl, but he has truly been one of my biggest supporters. When you have Bobby Sproul, Butch Thompson sincerely praising me more than I should ever be praised, they mean it, and it's helped me do what I do. And when those guys support me, you know, it does give me confidence to do what I do. Obviously, Julian Mock and Harry Lloyd very early on, but those guys have supported me, and really, I wouldn't have done this as long as I have if guys like that not have been on board with me and really supporting me. So thank you to them. Man, and these young guys have come on, the Casey Underwoods and Blakes and Bubba Frichter and all these other younger guys have come on and doing a great job. And I guarantee you, they follow the lead of Randy and Bobby and Wayne Larker, and they follow their lead, and they're great guys to take over as well. Coming, and JD Pruitt now. You have one from JD?
Yeah, go on here from JD. That's going to the other end of the JUCO time in office, so to speak. JD Pruitt, I think, in his second, maybe his third year there at Coastal Alabama South. So let's go to that conversation.
Yep. Man, where do you begin with Barry? He has been a pioneer for the game of baseball here in the state of Alabama for a really long time, for as long as I can remember. He started the summer event my sophomore year of high school, which was in 2000, I believe is what it was. And so, again, for that event in particular to evolve the way that it has to help, you know, an astronomical amount of baseball players here in the state of Alabama. I mean, I received my first offer as a collegiate offer at that from that event. And so not only has he, helped me in my baseball career, but again, he's helped many others. And then you just look at all the other obstacles and hurdles that he's been able to overcome. Again, still finding a way to even put an event on in the middle of COVID. So again, what Barry has done for the state of Alabama, its coaches, its players, it's nothing short of astronomical. It's nothing short of extraordinary. And I think that's, if there was one word that I could really describe Barry, it would be that. And we are sad to see Barry go, but I know this is a venture that he has a lot of passion about, because that's who Barry is. Barry is a very passionate individual, and he displayed that passion on a daily basis, being the executive director for the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association. So I know this venture is going to be no different. We wish him the very best and in his future endeavors, and couldn't be more happy for him.
JD Pruitt, one of our best coaches in the state. He proved it in high school. He proved it, and now he's proven it on the community college level. He is on my board. He's on the board now for the ALABCA, and he was on the committee before that. He's sold over 1,000 fall fundraiser tickets. So he runs hard off the field with his guys. He runs hard on the field. He's a great strength and conditioning guy. Dr. Andrews, for our 25th anniversary, I loaded it up extra convention. Robert, you may not, you've got so many, but Dr. Andrews, Jerry Weinstein, we had just, it was like a who's who of past great guys, current guys, Butch Thompson. It was just bam, bam, bam. And JD was speaking on how to build a baseball player from the ground up / strength and conditioning. And he was speaking, and Dr. Andrews was after him. And I don't keep up with who's speaking when at the convention because I'm outside checking on vendors, shaking hands, kissing babies, going inside the room, making sure you're doing fine, everything's going on, making sure you haven't fell asleep. But anyway, and Dr. Andrews got there early before he spoke, and he goes in the room, and he comes out. When I'm standing outside, he goes, "Who is that in there?" And I didn't. So I look in there, and it's JD. I said, "Oh, it's JD Pruitt." He goes, "He really knows his stuff." This is Dr. James Andrews. Holy smokes!
Yeah.
So that says the level that exercise. He's a certified strength and conditioning. That's a national certification that he'd have to be a big league trainer, big league strength and conditioning guy. So JD's great. He's worked our All-Star event, speaks at our convention. He's a USA Baseball guy. USA Baseball loves our high school and college coaches. Jose Vasquez was the head coach last year, Alabama State coach of the highest college team. JD and Adam Mosley and, oh my gosh, Wes Brooks and down the line help with USA Baseball. They know how great of coaches we have in this state. I know some other guys are probably doing it, and I don't know it. David Sharp with PBR is huge with USA Baseball. So testimony to our state and our players, and I'm proud to be to serve them. So
all right, let's go back to bullet points and pictures. Going to pop up a picture.
Do it.
Give me the story.
Do it. Oh my gosh. That's when Tom Glavine spoke at the first pitch dinner. He did it for free. You talk about persistence. Yeah, his son played for Butch, and Butch helped me nail him down. I got on him several years earlier from Trent Mongero, the legendary infield instructor around the country. Trent's buddy who helped him at North Hall knew Tom. That's how crazy it is, Robert. You give me a crumb, and I'll try to make a pie. At the national convention, you ever tell me you know someone, I will hawk you to get to them. His assistant at North Hall, was a newspaper guy at North Hall High School in Gainesville, Georgia, Trent's assistant. He goes, "Yeah, I grew up with Tom Glavine." I said, "Okay." I said, "Can you pass him an email to do my first pitch dinner for the Miracle Leagues?" "Yeah, I'll do that for you." He did it for me. Tom responded. And then Tom responded. He did respond. Tom Glavine responded. And then Tom told me, "I can't do it now, but just stay on me."
Like he wouldn't.
Telling me to stay on him is like throwing a piece of meat in front of a lion and saying, "Eat it." So I stayed on him. We may go longer. I don't care if people get off, but this is worth telling. So we go back and forth email wise. He got in the Hall of Fame one year, so he couldn't do it that year because my dinner's in late January for the Miracle Leagues, early February. You AUM guys could donate it too. You got all this money, Russ Huber and Ryan. No, Dale, not you. So I go. This is how my mind works, Robert. I have Dale Murphy come one year, okay, to my dinner. I go through Major League Baseball to get him, pay him $7,500. So low end Hall of Famers $10,000. Murph was $7,500. Great guest. I'm taking Dale Murphy back to the airport 5:00 in the morning, and I said, "Murph, where are you going?" He goes, "Well, I'm going to Atlanta. He lives in Utah." He goes, "I'm going to Atlanta to see the Braves. I'm trying to get on with them. You know how it is. You ought to pay Dale Murphy the rest of your life."
Mm-hmm.
The Yankees pay Reggie. I know they pay Reggie Jackson. I met him twice. I think he'll be on that payroll forever to smooth people and go to spring training. He's Mr. October. Well, Murph was trying to work something with the Braves like that. So I said, okay. And then he goes, "And I'm going to the Braves Hall of Fame. The Braves Hall of Fame, where they induct their own. Then I'm going back home." I said, "Who's going in the Hall of Fame?" He goes, "Well, Tim Hudson and the announcer, I forget the announcer. One of the announcers was going in. So I said, great. I knew Tim because I coached Tim. No, I didn't teach him anything. I coached him in between Chattahoochee Valley and Auburn in Hornell, New York in that summer league. And my claim to fame is I didn't hurt him. So I didn't help him. Anyway, so I said, can anybody go to this? Because I'm thinking Tom Glavine may be there. So I said, who goes to it? He goes, a lot of the Braves Hall of Famers come back and the current team is there, and then you buy a ticket. So I get home from the airport. It's real early, so I wait a couple more hours. I call over there. The dinner's the next day on Saturday night at Coca-Cola Theater. They said, I called the lady, hey, can anybody get a ticket? How much are they? $300. She said, I said, look, I run the Alabama Baseball Coach Association. I just dropped Dale Murphy off at the airport for our dinner. I want to meet Tom Glavine. She goes, you can't get his autograph. I don't want his autograph. I want him to come to our dinner. I've emailed him back and forth. She goes, yeah, you can come over. I get a $300 ticket, go over the next night. They have shrimp. And Butch is there because Tim's going in. Butch is there. A lot of Auburn people are there. I see Tim. He's so down to earth and humble and just still the same as he always is. And they got shrimp this big in the pre-event thing. I mean, it looked like bass. The shrimp are so big. Just food everywhere. It covers your meal. $300 covers. So they're about to start the dinner. This is the kid. They're about to start the dinner. Everybody seated. You get a big leaguer or two at your table. We're kind of in the back. For some reason, Robert, people put me in the back. I'm in the back. I get up to go to the bathroom. Everybody's seated. I get up to go to the bathroom real quick out in the lobby where all the pre-hors d'oeuvres were. Coming out of the bathroom, Tom Glavine comes walking in all by himself. That's like a hawk. I'm like a hawk on a power line, and a rat goes running across. I am going. So I'm coming out of the bathroom. It's like a long walkway out of the bathroom, and people don't, I wash my hands really clean when I'm coming out of the bathroom. I'm kind of like I'm about to go eat too. I'm a little not germaphobe completely, but anyway. So I'm kind of I wash my hands and they're kind of a little walking in. I'm doing this. I said, hey, Tom, and he's walking toward me. I said, Tom, I just washed my hands. I said, I'm Barry Dean. And he goes, oh yeah, that guy, that psycho.
That Barry Dean.
I said, man, would love you to come do the dinner. Blah 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 blah. So then COVID hits. Shortly after that, we do the Zoom sessions. Butch got Tim and Tom to come on. We're doing these Zoom sessions. I catch on all this technology. We do Zoom clinics for everybody like other people were doing. And I'm getting these big hitters to come on. So Butch, I hosted it. Butch really takes over. I let Butch take over. Of course, Butch takes over, interviews Tom and Tom Glavine and Tim Hudson. And I'm just sitting off on the side listening on Zoom. Well, I'm still the host. So when Tim is talking, I send Tom a message personally in the chat. I said, hey, man, we got to get you for the dinner. He goes, let me look at my calendar. I said, hey, send me don't ever do this. Don't give me your cell. So I said, send me your cell, please. I said, I won't blow you up, man.
Barry Dean won't blow you up.
So he sends me his cell and I just go back and forth with him. I don't blow. I said, man, can you do it this coming year? And he could do it. So this is, COVID. This is March, April. We're doing these things. So that following January, we do the dinner at the Birmingham Renaissance when COVID was but I'm sorry. They hosted this and I said, let's go. Tom, his son was still at Auburn and he did it for free. Had the best turnout ever. Had about 30 tables to 8, which is the best for me in our event, and made, 35,000. And Tom, let me tell you, everybody gets autographs who comes to my dinner and a picture if they want it with the VIP. And Tommy Goodson from Prattville Christian Academy, a coach, and 3 or 4 of his coaches and friends went in last. They weren't even going to go in. The line was so long. They decided to go in the last group, and they said you'd have thought it was the first group. Tom was so gracious and humble. There's over 200 people actually probably went in to get their autographs, and they said he was so kind and humble and friendly, wasn't rushing them out. So great. And that was at the dinner. Butch, of course, came down, and Mike Mordecai introduced Tom and told some funny stories. Morty was so good. So I'm sorry.
Speaking of Mike Mordecai.
That's right.
Let's do this.
Barry Dean, cannot believe you're retiring. You still got hair on your head. Now you got a little bit. You're trying to offset it, have a little bit right here. You cannot retire until it's all gone. Completely bald. Okay? I love you, buddy. Good luck in retirement. If I can never do anything for you, you can call me.
Mike Mordecai, All-American. I think I got crazy stats in my head. He was like second team All-American at South Alabama. Played at Hewitt Trustful with Daniel Sims, who I played with Daniel in junior college. Who Daniel's on my board. Him and Paul Virtue and Johnny been on there forever. But Morty is such a class act. This is Mike Mordecai. He called me a few years ago and said, "Hey, I want to work the All-Star event, BD." He says, BD, I want to work the All-Star event. I said, "Morty, you're technically a high school coach, and the JUCO coaches who are on the team with the one or two high school coaches, which we have 6 or 7 minorities work that event, which I'm very proud of. That Tyrus Moss has helped me get a lot of the minorities. Daryl Dunbar, you got a video from him. We'll have one minority per 6 team and a white high school, non-minority white coach, high school coach, and then a JUCO coach." But Morty says, BD, he's down in Dothan at Northside Academy. And he said, BD, I want to come work the camp, the All-Star event. I said, okay. I said, Morty, the high school coaches walk dining hall dorm to field. And the JUCO coaches on that team get to recruit the other teams when they're not coaching. BD, hey, I'm a minor league guy. I'll walk dining hall dorm to field. And that's Morty played 10 years in the big leagues on the 95 World Series team with the Braves. I mean, and he walks down hall dorm to field, and he sits out in front of the dorms at Troy at night talking baseball with the coaches. I mean, that is 10-year big leaguer, Mike, All-American at South Alabama with Luis Gonzalez, and all those guys in the heyday of South Alabama. And you'd think Morty's never got past single A. So nothing but class, and love him to death. So,
you mentioned Daryl Dunbar. Let's go to a conversation I had with Daryl while he was literally driving down the road.
Okay.
Me being a young coach, it's helped me, just organize my program as far as practice, fundraising, giving my kids the opportunity to, participate in showcases so that colleges could see them that, they might necessarily have heard of or even thought they might have the opportunity to work out in front of.
Do you know of specific instances where players that you have brought to a showcase have signed with a college as a result of that showcase?
No, sir, not as much so signed with. They have received offers from the show, from a few different schools in the showcase, East Central in Mississippi. I have some younger kids that have been getting looks, but they're younger kids, so they can't necessarily receive anything just yet.
Daryl Dunbar, he's one of the new guys. By the way, I did ask him too if he had any Barry Dean stories, and he said, I'm young, I'm new, but I've heard.
Daryl's one of the, and I mean this, when I coached at Lawson 06-09, minority JUCO in Birmingham, it's the academic dean, he said this, I didn't say it, but the academic dean, they had a minority coach the first year in 06, and that didn't go well. So they get rid of him, and I come in, and Dean Crawford, Bruce Crawford's the academic dean. He dresses like Saks Fifth Avenue. And they hire me in August. The JUCOs are good at hiring you in August. They don't want to hire you in the summertime and pay you. Anyway, Dr. Ward's a phenomenal guy, Perry Ward, at Lawson at the time. He'd been there for years. He's retired, but I think the world of him. But Dean Crawford comes up to me and walking across campus, meeting my, I'm walking real fast. He says, Coach, Coach Dean, you're not all white. What are you? I started laughing. I said, Doc, that's why y'all hired me. You thought I was half and half, didn't you, man? So,
are you sure he asked if you weren't all white or all right?
anyway, he could that was but Daryl Dunbar, I am proud of the fact, and Tyrus Moss helped me at a legend at Parker High School in our Hall of Fame. Tyrus helped us with this, but we have more minorities working our events. And that's just not lip service, because when I was at Lawson 06-09, I would go to minority tournaments. And Dr. Ward wanted me getting non-minorities at Lawson, but of course I was striving to get minorities as well to play baseball. And Daryl has worked our events every chance. All-Star event in Troy, the August showcase at Mountain Brook, Jimmy Solomon from Pinson Valley, DeAndre Collins from Northridge and Tuscaloosa. We just so there are a lot of guys. We just had Central Tuscaloosa. Coach just worked this year. Absolutely loved it. GT Tolbert from Matty Blunt in Mobile came to our convention this past year and worked our event this summer, and he loves it. So getting those guys to be with the non-minorities has really been a beautiful thing to see, and the relationships formed. Tyrus Moss, his assistants have worked it before, and it's just I've just been proud of that. Because I see sometimes the minorities will kind of keep themselves out of non-minorities in a way, and only play minority schools. But there have been a lot of minority schools playing some of the non-minority schools in Birmingham, I think, because of us and forming those relationships. So it's been a beautiful thing that to see that. So Daryl's one of the great examples of that.
By the way, again, as I've mentioned previously, flying by the seat of the pants. So I've gotten texts from folks that want to get in. So I'm trying to figure out a way to make that happen.
Yeah.
You can also go to the chat room, comment. We'll post that comment. You can text me, and I'll read the text. I almost hesitate to go back to the bullet point pictures because your bullets travel really, really slow. Kind of like the Matrix, slow motion. But I'm let's do some bullet points on pictures again.
Go.
And in a sentence.
All right, go.
Are you ready? Here we go.
All right, I'm sorry. Yeah, Steve, I played all the teams one year at Lawson in the state. I played of course, we had our several in our division. I played all the other teams, and this was the year when I shot you, Steve Helms at LBW. That's Steve. We played them. Keep going.
All right.
I already talked about Steve. David Langston at Northwest Shoals. David, one of the best coaches in the state, very successful at Shoals. They dropped the program, unfortunately. Ben brought it back, and he's back to being one of the top teams, and we played them that year. And so tough. They were in our division then, in the North Division. Very personal. I can't go too fast on this one. That was opening day, 2009 at Lawson. My dad had passed away way back in 1989 at 56 of a heart attack. My brother, Father James Dean. My mom, of course, and my brother Richard Dean went to Alabama's law school, and that was at Lawson State, and played Bishop that day and won the first game and of a doubleheader, and they came up for opening day. Very, very special. Very special.
I've already done that.
That's all right.
All right, here's one.
Bobby Sproul. We know about him. We played them that. Of course, they were in the division, North Division. So love Bobby. Everybody knows him. Jack Morris. Hall of Famer. He was one of my last 7 Hall of Famers I've had for my first pitch dinner. That's at Patterson Field. Jack Morris played at Brigham Young, and he said this his opening line when he spoke at our dinner that year at the first pitch dinner. He goes, "I was drafted by the Tigers from Brigham Young and sent to Montgomery, Alabama to Patterson Field in June." He said, "I thought I had died and gone to hell. It was so hot." Everybody just laughed and said, "Well, you got that right." Anyway. Jack Morris, Hall of Famer, and I took him to Patterson Field when he landed. Of course, Dr. Jack Hawkins. I should have had you interview him, but my fault. Dr. Jack he helped us get in the state budget for $40,000, the education budget, and we've grown that to $125,000. But we honor him as our Distinguished Service Award recipient. Well beyond that. But he was deserving of that and a lot more. So he's been a huge supporter of mine. And he met Todd Watts, who's taken over for me at the Sunbelt Conference in his box. I asked Doc, could we come talk to him? We talked for about an hour. And Dr. Hawkins is just pouring. Vietnam veteran, Vietnam Marine, great leader. Could have been the governor, could have been governor, but didn't run for it because he's built Troy to the Mecca it is around the world. And just pouring into Todd and I. About him taking over for me and just his wisdom. I could just sit there all day and listen to him. Thanks, Dr. Hawkins. Dr. James Andrews, he loves our association. He's spoken a couple of times. He's one of our Distinguished Service Award recipient due to what he means to the game, baseball, of course, in this state and around the world on planet Earth. But Dr. Andrews has always supported us and has really liked the way we've tried to get medical information out there to help the coaches. Of course, Coach Savarese and Coach Alvin Briggs. Alvin took over for Coach Sav. I had lunch with Alvin about a week ago. He's doing well. And both of them are great supporters of ours. My brother, Father James Dean. People say we kind of look alike. That means you're going to You don't win his favor when you say that, or mine. So, but love my brother to death, and he's been a big influence on me. And outside of being an Auburn fan, I'm a Bama football fan. I'm an Auburn baseball fan, Butch Thompson. But great, my brother. This is when Coach Saban, 2007, when they were bad because his first year, Coach Saban's a very devout Catholic, and I will try to get a one-on-one with him via Coach Savarese to talk about our association with Coach Savarese. But Coach Saban's a very strong Catholic. He has mass in the hotel before every game. Every Sunday, he's at mass back home every Sunday, win or lose. He helped build the church, St. Francis, rebuild the church on the campus, and the Saban Student Center, where the Catholic students go right by the church, has his name on it. He's given a lot of money, raised a lot of money. That was 2007 when they were bad that first year, and that's at the Renaissance. I was one of the readers. My brother's one of the readers, and my brother celebrated the mass. So what a neat picture right there. And my brother had his Auburn insignia on his black top underneath his vestments. His Auburn. Come on, man. Let's go. Anyway, we give tarps every year, home plate and mound tarps, Dothan Tarpolian. Thank you for donating those. We give two or three sets. They give us two. I buy one or two and give them out to coaches around the state. Home plate and mound tarps.
Barry, that was very good. We did much better on the bullet points there.
Well, I'm coachable.
All right. A reminder, you can go into the chat room, comment, text, and comment. And then again, we're going to try to get a gentleman in who has wanted to be a part of the show as well. So we'll see if we can do that.
One live interview.
Yeah.
We could show a couple commercials.
We can do that. You want to do that now?
Yeah. Caleb Brooks did our commercials for us. Caleb shot me a text early on. And once again, I'm not Mr. High Tech. I'm not Mr. Current with my black shoes and my 4-inch leggings and pants tucked. But I try to stay current with other stuff we're doing, videos. And Caleb did a great job, I think, with our commercials. And Robert, you helped some of these just in general. So, but Caleb's put these commercials together for us. You gonna roll it? How about 2 or 3 of them? What are you doing?
Hey, I'll do whatever you say, man. You're the boss.
You can roll 3. That'll give me enough time to go to the bathroom.
All right, we'll do it. 3 for a potty break.
Since 1995, the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association has held its annual Coaches Convention, where up to 450 high school and college coaches gather to learn more about their craft from some of the best coaches in Alabama and the country. The annual awards banquet is also held during the convention, where standout high school and college players and coaches from the past season are honored for their success. The banquet's highlight occurs when the new Hall of Fame class is inducted and the Distinguished Service Award recipient is honored.
The Alabama Baseball Coaches Association All-Star event has been a staple in amateur baseball in Alabama since 2000. Each June, 120 high school underclassmen join at Troy University to participate in this highly coveted event. Besides being evaluated on the field in a pro-style workout and in live games by 30 to 40 college coaches, the players and their parents attend informational sessions on the recruiting process and academic requirements. We look forward to seeing you this summer at our annual All-Star event.
The Alabama Baseball Coaches Association's annual First Pitch Dinner and Silent Auction raises money for the Miracle Leagues of Alabama. These leagues allow disabled children and adults to play the game of baseball on synthetic and turf fields. Besides helping subsidize players' uniform costs and league equipment costs, the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association is committed to getting more high school and college teams involved in volunteering in these leagues. Click on the donate button at alabca.org to help support this life-impacting ministry.
And again, kudos to Caleb, man. He does a terrific job in putting together your highlight packages and commercials. And just a multi-talented guy who's also coaching.
No doubt. Mike Costanza did one of the voiceovers. He's a deacon, a Catholic deacon. Anyone in Montgomery knows Mike Costanza from Chappie's Deli. He's a deacon, Catholic deacon also. Zach Azar, my cousin, did another voiceover. And then that was Rick Robinson, who has that magical voice at the end, who could be the boxing ring announcer probably. Let's get ready to rumble. But Rick Robinson, longtime college baseball coach, now FCA guy, I believe, did that last commercial. So, yeah, try to have good commercials that we showed during our game of the week. Keep rolling, baby.
Do a game of the week. As a matter of fact, here's our 2024 schedule.
That's right. That was my college game day. is my all-time favorite show. I'm a baseball guy, but I could watch College Game Day with Lee Corso. Of course, he's getting older and getting a little. I know his time's probably closing down on that show, but he's been a gem all these years. Devout Catholic man, may I add. Herb Street, and now of course now Coach Saban. McAfee is so funny, and the main guys they've had. Who are the main now? The main guy, Chris at first, and then Reese Davis. So they do great jobs. But that was my thing here, game of the week, to get jock jive. And that goes back, Robert, to Casey Underwood and Blake Lewis. Hey, man, why don't you get jock jive to do stuff? Well, who's jock jive? This is several years ago. Why don't you get them to do the All-Star event at Troy? Well, I don't know. What's jock jive and live stream? What is this stuff? And I wasn't real. And then I contacted you, and here we go. And you do Troy or All-Star event. I remember the first year I wasn't paying attention. I just said, what's it cost? And you do home and center. You do home and center with the 2 cameras, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there going, okay, that's great. But I'm like, how much is a first and third base camera too? Because let's make this a little more. I don't want 20 cameras, maybe like ESPN, but let's get 4 cameras, right? And you said, $250 for this op, $250 for this op for the day, and times a couple days, and $1,000 extra. And I'm like, we ain't broke. We ain't, we could afford it, but that's money. But I'm saying, man, that's a way better look. So I remember telling you that. Let's get 4 cameras, even maybe a roving camera one time. We may have had 5.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to make it nice and make it. And then I love College Game Day so much and the funny stuff they do. Wind Creek Casino made those shirts for me, and the T-shirt cannon. You should have some. Oh yeah, the throw for dough, baby.
Yeah.
So $1,000 we gave out, like 3 $1,000 scholarships. You throw for dough. It's like McAfee on the kick. It got hard where you could hit that. If y'all have seen it, there's a hole where that mitt is. So you try to hit the hole, 30 feet away. But when a lot of kids couldn't hit it, so I let them go 2 or 3 different rounds. Like 10 kids from the school would pick them. So we give out $1,000 in school they're going to. LBW this past year, Brandon Ware. That's of course, you all the way to the right, and Brandon Ware next to you on the right side there. Steve next to me, and then me on the far left. And LBW is a really good spot to do it. And Gary Smith from Power South sponsored that, and Brock Kelly, their president's huge into sports. He came out, and but that T-shirt cannon was fun, and the commercials we did during that, just make it professional. We got a little Wind Creek sponsored it, and Gary Smith sponsored some of it, and Sneed State sponsored it up there, and the Elmore County Commission and Hopewell High School sponsored it, and Elmore County High School sponsored the one last year. And it's just neat, man, to promote the game and shoot those T-shirts and give out gift cards from Longhorn and Cracker Barrel, places where if they don't need them, I'll take them. I like Robert, always give someone a gift that you really like, right? But
That's right.
if they want to give it back to you. So yeah, that's been a blast, and you are definitely. You and I have some fun together, and James, but you and I on the camera, I'm not the silver-tongued devil. I'm the bumbling, stumbling sidekick. We have fun. So, and that T-shirt cannon has been a lot of fun.
Oh, it has. There's some shirts still sitting out in the woods somewhere that
Ayrton. Peter picketed us next game because I shot one so far and killed a squirrel 2 counties over down there in Ayrton. Yeah.
Yes, I recall it.
James about fell off the stage, but
all right, let's go to another video. Toast or roast? I'm not sure. I'm thinking it's probably going to be on the roast side. How about this one from Brian Abbott?
I met Barry Dean a long time ago, and obviously, Barry, I'm talking to you during this situation too, so it's not like I'm talking to a lot of other people. But we met at the Baseball Coaches Association at the ABCA. Barry calls me. Anybody's ever got a phone call from Barry? Barry's very enthusiastic about a lot of things. Barry's a man of strong faith. I've been on a lot of the Bible studies that he's put together, had some guest speakers for us over the years. But he's really tried to organize the head of the coaches associations for baseball in the state. And I run this association in Indiana. And Barry and I have got to know each other. We kind of hook up every year when we get to the ABCA and talk. We've talked in between times. It's not uncommon for us to get on the phone and talk for a half hour, 45 minutes. I was college coach here in Indiana for a while. We played in Alabama a couple years down in Tuscaloosa, and Barry came over to see me. We had some conversations there. Very, very people-oriented person, very baseball-oriented person. He wants to see people do well. He's given me a lot of ideas on how to run the association, and I've gone back and forth with him also on some of those things. And we've helped other coaches start associations in different states. So those meetings we had at the ABCA were just huge in getting things started for people and coordinating thoughts and gathering ideas. I'm very happy that Barry is getting the opportunity to go on and do something else in his life that I know is very important to him with his Catholic faith. And I feel like I'm blessed to have the opportunity to know Barry. I don't really have any stories to roast him or anything like that. Most of my comments to him are going to be very complimentary on the way that he's treated other people, treated myself, reached out, always had great ideas and given me help with things on how to run an association. And I think he's been a really good partner as I've grown as a leader of the association also. And we obviously both love baseball. We both love Christ. And I feel like that's something that we share in common. So Barry, good luck as you move forward. I wish you nothing but the best. And I would love to hear how things are going for you down the road. And I look forward to seeing God use you in a mighty way.
Brian Abbott, first class guy. He does a great job running their association. He does things I don't do up there. And he is a very great leader. And he gave me an insurance company down here that I was paying $10,000 a year for our insurance in our association. And then we ended up paying like $4,000 and got the same value as someone he recommended me to go to, and also did some of the AHSA stuff that I didn't know. So I said, you come down here in Alabama, I'm taking you to Robert Trent Jones. You say to $6,000, I got the green fee and lunch. So he hadn't got down yet for that, but I will dip in the ALABCA money when he comes down. Johnny, Todd Watts, send me the credit card when he comes down. So anyway, great guy. And that's just on my heart to get these guys together at the national convention in Opryland Thursday night, wherever we go at Thursday night after all the division. The talks start Friday. The exhibitors are Thursday afternoon. The different levels, high school, college, JUCO, Division 1, 2, 3, have their own meetings, talk about what's going on. And then guys break up that night and go drink something, eat something, shoot the bull. And I've invited the association presidents of all the states who are there to join us in a little restaurant in the back room in the Opryland Hotel. And we've had 12 or 14 at the most there. And it is a great idea. Swap ideas and form relationships. And how do you do this in your state? How do you do this in your state? And Brian's a leader. And Tim Murray from Virginia, I think you have a video from him, as a dear friend of mine who started the Virginia Baseball Coach Association. Just a great human being. And he called me a lot when he formed their association. You got him?
Yep.
But Brian's.
Hello, this is Tim Murray with the Virginia Baseball Coaches Association. A little over 8 years ago, we founded our own association here in Virginia. I reached out to Jeremy Sheetinger, and he referred me to Barry Dean. Since then, Barry Dean and I have become lifelong friends. Barry was instrumental not only in our founding, but in the continued success that we enjoy today through his sharing, his caring, his what to do, and most importantly, his what not to do. And he continues to mentor me to this day. I know he's done this with other individuals and associations across the country. Each year at the ABCA, Barry held an impromptu get-together where we could learn and share and help each other get better. Barry, you are the epitome of making better coaches. Personally, I want to thank you. All the baseball coaches in Virginia want to thank you. We send our best wishes and much love, and know you'll do great in this next chapter in your life. Take good care and Godspeed.
You know, I can write a book on what not to do. He mentioned that. So obviously, as a player in my less illustrious career and less illustrious coaching career, and association, I've stuck my toe a lot of times. But Tim Mary's one of the gems in this country and founded it. I actually hooked him up with Tim Corbin. Was that a lead in, Robert? Is that me a lead in? I actually hooked him up with Tim Corbin, one of the GOATs of college baseball at Vanderbilt, head baseball coach, and he was going to Vanderbilt to see his daughter, who was going to school there. And he goes, man, I'd love to meet Tim Corbin. And I can't get Tim to speak in Alabama. I don't think Tim's watching this, so we'll be okay. I can't get him to speak in Alabama, but I'm friends with Tim, and as big as he is, he still responds to my text. And I said, hey, Tim, I said to Tim Corbin, Tim, Mary's coming down there. He's going to start the Virginia Baseball Coach Association. He'd love to meet you. And Tim Corbin, just so classy and down to earth, I said, give him my number. And it was in the fall when he went down there, and then he went by the practice and watched him. Tim Corbin lets anybody come watch him at practice, like coaches and stuff. And he let him watch him practice, and Tim got some great ideas from his practice and talked about him about starting the VBCA. And he was just in awe of Tim Corbin, which we all are. But anyway, but Tim Mary's done a great job up there of finding that. And he runs it. He's way more structured and disciplined than me. I know it's hard to believe, Robert, but he's way more structured and kind of methodical. And I'm just kind of crazy, fly by the seat. But I love Tim Mary, love Brian Abbott. I think you got keep rolling.
Who do you want? You want Tim Carter Corbin or Tim O'Neill?
Do Tim O'Neill from Louisiana. He's done a great job.
Hey, this is Tim O'Neill, Executive Director of the Louisiana Baseball Coaches Association, also known as Barry Dean of Louisiana. I want to thank Barry for all that he has done for me, helping me to get Louisiana back on track. And I pretty much copied everything Barry has done in Louisiana as best I could. Thanks again, Barry.
Tim O'Neill's a wild man. He is good people. That Southeast shootout I formed that went a few years to bring a team to Louisiana up and kick everybody's tail. They always won the silver, gold, or gold, silver, or bronze. And his kids were so good. They were good players, but they were really good kids. That's how Tim is. Just really good guy. And he has turned that association around. It was really dead when he took it over. And I've been happy to offer suggestions. They did start our all-star game, an underclassmen all-star game. It's been a big hit that I nudged him to do greatly. And he's done all the work, and he's flipped it around with speakers. He gets better speakers than they've ever had before. And it's him doing the work and the passion. So he's just been a good guy to keep up with. And that's part of those guys who come when I get the gatherings together. So go ahead and run. Thanks for running him. Go ahead and run Tim Corbin.
Hello, this is Tim Corbin, baseball coach at Vanderbilt University. And I'm simply toasting Barry Dean. And this is coming from my wife, Maggie, and myself, who have known Barry for a long period of time. But we personally want to thank him for his service to baseball, specifically the state of Alabama and its association for almost 30 years. You think about that amount of time serving a group of people and its student athletes to better the game of baseball. Barry's a very unique individual in so many different ways. And I say that from a positive life force standpoint. Anyone who's been around him for 2 minutes understands his heart and understands what he wants to do for other people. We thank him for his friendship, and this is just a small token of appreciation for thanking him for what he's done for the state of Alabama in baseball and for many other things. Barry, thank you very much.
Oh, Tim. Yeah, Tim, easy to say he's one of the GOATs of college baseball. And I saw him when I was at Troy as a young assistant going around all these tournaments in the fall. He was at Clemson for Coach Leggett. And the other coaches may have been together or shooting the bull some. And Tim was like over here like a thoroughbred at the Kentucky Derby with blinders on, watching the game and taking notes. And when he got the job at Vanderbilt, I remember telling him, I wasn't a soothsayer, but I said, man, congratulations. And I know, because when he took it over, they were at the bottom of the bottom. I said, man, I know you're going to absolutely blow the roof off the place. And I just knew him well enough to know that it wasn't a great insight by me. But anyway, the rest is history. So,
hey, I want to go to one of my favorites.
Oh, my
Dean
gosh.
Myring, the commissioner of the ACCC. You are ready.
Yeah, I'm a Hall of Fame ring on that I made, Dean, that I had to make him pay. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Barry Dean, the non-baseball playing, non-coaching, fanny pack wearing, non-lunch paying, asking for free admission to all games, panhandling, nonstop talking, director of the ALABCA. You're finally leaving. Fireworks are getting ready to go off across the state of Alabama. You're finally gone. All of our dreams are coming true. So Barry, we thank you in all seriousness for all of your hard work, your dedication to amateur baseball in the state of Alabama, and your work with the Miracle League will go unmatched. That was phenomenal, and the lives that you touched through the game of baseball will never be duplicated. So we wish you luck in your next adventure. We know they will benefit greatly from your hard work and dedication, and we do not look forward to seeing you in the future. Take care, Mr. Dean, and good luck.
I didn't want to have to break my bling out. Okay. All right. One's the ALABCA Hall of Fame for service, not for playing or coaching. We know that, or umpiring. They're for service. That's the ALABCA, that they are classy enough to buy this ring to give to their Hall of Famers, the guy who runs that organization. This is my ACCC Hall of Fame ring that I was given for Mentorship. What is it called? Mentorship service. And they don't give rings out, Robert. The guy who runs that, he squeaks when he walks. I forget his name. But anyway, so I made my own ring through Bear and the ring company that does our rings, and they did it for a couple $100. It's actually a nice ring. And I bought my own ring. And since he gave me 30 seconds to give my speech at the junior college tournament when they weren't going to give me anything, I have something prepared. I have something just really short. It's 7 pages. You can't see the bottom of it. Prepared for my induction speech to the ACCC now with my ring on.
Oh boy!
That we give to our inductees that night so they can wear it. So now I have mine several years later, after I had to do some panhandling, fundraising, and skimming off the Miracle League dinner to buy my ring. Anyway, Dean. So that award's right here, Dean.
Well, now you didn't buy your spot in the Hall of Honor, did you? That wasn't a.
Well, I head up the committee, so either they voted for me or I fired all of them. I'm in.
There you go. Yeah, that's right.
I don't care about being in Hall of Fames. Everybody knows that. But since I've been fired from 2 jobs and I'm in 2 Hall of Fames, I want one more Hall of Fame to kind of beat it, to kind of counterbalance that. I don't care. I just want Hall of Fame. It's like these kids playing travel ball. Oh, we're World Series winners. Like the 15 World Series that you've already live streamed these, and they're all 5 6U World Series, and they all get rings.
Right.
I just want for any Hall of Fame. Just think of one, man.
So, ACCA.
What's that?
ACCA Hall of Fame.
That's right. That's right. Catholic coaches. That's right. That will be a Hall of Fame. The Association of Catholic Coaches and Athletes. I'm going to duplicate everything with ACCA Catholic Coaches and Athletes Association that I have done with baseball. But no, Dean, seriously, Dean has, I think, been a godsend to the JUCOs in this state. The commissioner, he's the one since really Dr. Van Horn way back, he's the full-time commissioner who really cares about athletics. He was a basketball coach himself, coming from the Carolinas as being a commissioner up there. So he already had the job skills, and he really cares about it. And we haven't kind of had that the most of a JUCO commissioner to be since Dr. Van Horn to really care about sports, be a sports guy, and be full-time and be all in instead of kind of part-time and kind of not all in. And I have formed, by the way, I have paid my way into the JUCO tournament. Anyway, actually bought like passes to get in, and happy to do it. But when did that happen? He gets mad when I do that. So is Josh, and he gets mad at me when I do that. As Sav Reese would be at the HSAA, I'll pay when I go there. But anyway, Dean's done a phenomenal job, and our state for the community colleges, which I am the biggest advocate of on the planet, playing community college baseball. All sports have been way better on the community, and he's helped start programs in this state to bring sports back by talking with presidents and going around and a little nudging here, a little nudging there, and talking to them and trying to stir the pot. So I appreciate what he's done on the community college level big time.
All right, I want to play maybe 2 or 3 or 4 back to back to back
Do
to
it.
back. Maybe
Do it.
you comment after the fact from each.
Hit him.
Hey, Barry, just want to start off by saying thank you for taking a chance on a young coach back in the day to allow me to help be a part of the association. I wish more people could see the passion and dedication you've put in over the 26 years you've been executive director of this association and being an advocate for the players and coaches around the state and growing this association into one of the top associations in the country. And I wish you well on starting your new association. And there's no doubt that you'll build it into the association that this one has become.
Hey Barry, Trent here. Listen, from my heart, just want to thank you for years upon years, decades of investing in our youth, not only in the state of Alabama, but across the entire country. The amount of time and effort you've put in to helping players become better men, better Christians, and of course, better baseball players is unmatched. You are an awesome friend, and from my heart, brother, fantastic job. I know you still got work to do. God bless.
Barry, James Moody at Democracy High School, just wanted to reach out and congratulate you on 25 years of running executive director of ALABCA. Actually, you worked it a little longer than that, but congratulations on retirement from that. Enjoy the relationships with you that I've had since we were 5 and 6 years old playing ball together. Good luck in your next adventure, and thanks for all the memories.
Barry, I just received your text. Hey, when 2 words pop into my mind when I think of Barry Dean, 1, passion, and 2, persistence. And they're both wonderful qualities. You've done so much for so many of us, and we really appreciate it, Barry. Keep working hard at what you do. Do the right thing all the time. You know how important that is to all of us. I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, obviously, there are many people that want to thank you for a job well done. And for those of you who are just joining us, Barry Dean is leaving his position as the ALABCA Executive Director in less than a week now, July 31st. It's marked in red on my calendar. It's got a big star on it, that Barry Dean is taking a hike.
Yeah, real quick on those 4 folks. Kelsey Cross, the first one, has been one of our most loyal and dedicated workers. He's at Brookwood. He's been at Brookwood Middle School outside of Tuscaloosa. He's at the high school now. Been a baseball coach. He's a softball coach. He'll help with football, but he's like assistant coaches in some realms there. But he's over our awards now and has just done an absolutely amazing job of the Hall of Fame. For some, my eyes getting a little watery, but Kelsey's
Barry, you're getting sentimental on us.
Kelsey's been very dedicated and one of our best workers, and he's going to step up and even do more with the awards and take everything under the umbrella. Great job. And his wife, Beth, they got a couple kids. And Trent Mongero, one of the top instructors on the planet. He has a huge following, does his infield clinics. He's up at a school in North Carolina, a little Christian school, but he's won the state at North Hall in Gainesville. Very hard to do, state title. But seriously, speaks at states all. We've had him twice. Speaks all around the country. Great instructor and a great human being. Fine Christian man. We are dear friends. He's sought after by a lot of people, and he's been an influence on me. Watching him teach the game at some of the camps where I've worked. Woo, he's off and our coaches love him. Everybody, Johnny Johnson has him do his infield clinic up there at James Clemens the last 2 or 3 years. He'll come back this fall and do it again. Go to a clinic, pay him, and he'll come to your clinic for a team in the area. So thanks, Trent. James Moody, grew up with him in East Montgomery. Like he said, playing ball since we were 7 years old. And James, he's going to be one of our Hall of Famers. Maybe this year. We haven't voted yet, but he's on the ballot. And won a state title at Demopolis. He's had some great teams. And he's played for the Yankees a couple years out of Huntington College way back. And just a great coach. And he's old school. He's got that old country, but he's a really great baseball guy. A great Christian man. Love him to death. The last one there, Pat McMahon. Holy smokes. With the Yankees now, was with Mississippi State for years, went Old Dominion as a head coach, came back to Mississippi State as a head coach, Florida as a head coach, finished second to Texas that year. Been with the Yankees for years, player development. He's way up the ladder. Pat McMahon, as people know, he and Brian Shoup founded the baseball camp under Coach Polk, the great camps that become Mississippi State, Birmingham Southern when Shoup was there. The great camps they ran were just the best camps in the country, all day and 7 in the morning till 10 at night. So, and Coach Mack, I've visited him in spring training. I will say, Coach, I'm coming down to spring training. Can I come see you at the minor leaguers? I don't care. Yeah, I'd love to meet Derek Jeter. I'd ask him to come do the first pitch dinner, Robert. But Mac will let me come back in the spring training, back in the spring where the coaches and limited people are. He'll say, yeah, man, you can come back here and watch us work out, which is I love doing, just watching minor leaguers work out and the coaches work with them in Tampa. And he'll have me an itinerary at the front desk. When you, oh, Mr. Dean, the girls, oh, Mr. Dean, how you doing? Yeah. Coach, Coach McMahon said you're coming. They treat you like royalty. And then you go back in the back where the player development guy is. Reggie Jackson was back there the second time I asked him to come to the dinner when he looked at me cross-eyed, Robert. Blah, blah, blah. And Mackey just rolls the red carpet out. So what a true gentleman and a great teacher and instructor. So,
hey, more coaches that want to say thank you, Barry.
Coach Barry Dean, Dan Smith from Troy, Alabama. Thank you for all that you've done for the city of Troy and Troy Parks and Recreation and the Troy Miracle League. Congratulations on your retirement. You have meant so much to the entire state of Alabama, not just in baseball, but the Miracle League, and in so many ways. Your generosity will continue to touch the lives of many for years and years to come. Congratulations again on your retirement. Take care, sir.
Barry, I want to thank you for letting me do this. When I moved back to Alabama in 2000, it became obvious to me that you were probably the best person for the job of heading up the Coaches Association. Over the years, I've always admired the way that you always put the players first. You're a baseball man that really saw a lot of growth in that organization, a lot of positive things happening. I know that we kidded you a lot, but I can tell you that there's nobody I can think of that would have done a better job at the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association than you. You grew the organization. You made it better. I just hope you're able to walk away with a clear conscience, because anybody that's been around that organization knows that you did a fantastic job, and we're going to miss you, or that organization's going to miss you a lot. And don't be a stranger, and look forward to seeing you somewhere else down the road. Barry, take care, and just know that I consider you a friend. Talk to you later.
Barry, just want to say thank you for everything you've done for me and the baseball coaches in this state. What you've done with this association over 30 years is incredible, man. As somebody who's seen it the whole time through, from a small meeting in a high school to convention now attended by hundreds, the small regional workouts to what we have at Troy now, incredible, man. Everybody's association in the country wants theirs to be like ours, and you made it that way, dude. You're the Nick Saban of Baseball Coaches Association. Unfortunately, you're leaving us, so we're going to do our best to keep this thing going, but we thank you and love you, and I know where to find you on Saturdays, and you're still buying the barbecue.
He and Dean Myrick are twins. Robert. See that? That's called alligator arm. Alligator arm. Mike Bird's got an alligator. Now he's going to hook up with Todd Watts. I told Todd, keep the visa in your back pocket and both hands on. Keep it in your front pocket. Anyway, because Bird's going to siphon off that thing. Anyway, Dan Smith, Miracle League in Troy. Parks and Rec in Troy. They need to put a statue of him up. Anyone in Troy, Alabama, that guy is a saint on the earth. He's got such a great heart, and it's been an honor to serve him and all the Miracle League people. Danny Watkins, Red Sox scout. Danny was like Joe Mason. When Joe quit scouting, Danny was still – when Joe was still scouting, Danny would work the South workouts or the North workouts, and Joe would work the South workouts. When we split them, we had so many kids coming to him at one time. And Danny would complain about putting the Red Sox – I like them wearing uniforms. Brandon Ware and Blake and Casey have choice words to this day, full uniform in this weather. Even the coach at the All-Star game, it looks more professional. Got that from Julian Mock and Harry Lloyd. They wore full camp uniform. And at the workouts, when we worked out 700 kids total and 8 workouts around the state. But Danny go out there and start working with hitters at the showcase instead of just evaluating them, because Danny is a coach and a teacher at heart, and he's got a big as heart as Joe Mason does, which is hard to do. So God bless Danny and supporting our association and giving that when a pro scout supports you at an amateur organization, that is a big deal because they're at the top of the food chain. Alabama and Auburn, we need their support, and all the colleges, their support. But when those pro guys do it, it is a big deal. And then Michael Bird, right-hand guy, he's going to – Todd Watts to take over, and then Michael will be his right-hand guy, kind of like Johnny's been my right-hand guy. Johnny's going to still be around on the board, Johnny Johnson. But Mike Bird is very dedicated to our association, a great worker, and he's going to step up even more than I'm gone. And it's going to be really – him and Todd Watts especially, and other guys too, Kelsey and Johnny's going to still help out, of course, but these guys are going to take a real leadership role. So thanks to Mike Bird.
Now, I know you want to get to a topic that's near and dear to your heart, and that's the Miracle League. But before we do, still got a few more coaches we want to hear from, and also want to pop up a picture.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is hands down one of my heart, and anyone watching this, it's hard to not about tear up watching this one for me. But, you know, that was the year, that was 2009 at Lawson. And that was my third year, and we actually had them beat. And no offense, I love Daryl Blevins. That's just the late great Daryl Blevins. And you could shoot that when we're finished with this, the incorporation papers. But Daryl was one of the first ones to be on my committee, and when I incorporated this thing in 2002. But that's his son, Kyle. Kyle, everybody knows Kyle Blevins. Holy smokes, that's him, little Kyle, that West Alabama, and played for Griff. State champion down there in Coastal North. And that day we gave, no offense, we gave it away the last inning. We had them beat. They couldn't make a routine play. We'd have won the game on a third baseman throwing the first, and he threw it wild, and they scored 2 runs and beat us, and they won. But so that's my mindset right before that picture. But I'm leaving, and I see Kyle and with his bat and his dad, and I literally go back after the guys were walking toward the bus and kneel down and take that picture. And my smile on my face, you wouldn't have thought we lost the game. So that was Kyle, little Kyle with his bat, and Dad. Daryl's a dear friend of mine who passed away. We've named one of our scholarships after him. And Denise, I don't know if she sent something in or not, Denise or not, his wife. A little bit, she may or may not have, but Daryl, do you have the incorporation papers?
These the incorporation papers?
You got it, baby. You got it, man. Now, at that time, I was a Kenny Rogers Roasters connoisseur, Robert. That was at Kenny Rogers Roasters on Montgomery Highway in Vestavia Hills, which is, I think, now Spanish, Mexican place. Go figure. But September 15th, 2002.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I was in Terry Atkins, Edgewood Academy, Hall of Famer. Dick Steed, Daryl Blevins, the second one, and Dick Steed, the third one. Dick Steed, one of our Distinguished Service Award honorees, great coach, left the state and went to Tallahassee for a while. Now he's back. He's retired. But Dick's a legend. Daryl Blevins, Distinguished Service Award. They signed on that when I was with the corporation papers at Kenny Rogers Roasters, and then that was part of the 501c3 process. So Daryl, that's 1990. Of course, you showed that already. But Daryl was with me early on with the workouts. 2000, we'd go around the state and do the 4 workouts, and Joe was with us, Huntsville, Birmingham, Montgomery, and Mobile. And we'd work out. And then it got so big, we had to go 4 in the north and 4 in the south to break it up on the same days and have different separate crews. But love Daryl. It's just so sad he died of double pneumonia due to complications to COVID, and died way too soon. And I went, of course, I was at his funeral, and he was a deacon down there at the First Baptist Church. He went and prayed with the preacher like every Sunday before the sermon, before church, before the service. That came out at the funeral. This stuff came out, and doesn't surprise me. He did all that, but he's very faith based. That doesn't surprise me. And 2 boys have really grown up to be fine young men. Craig's going to Blue Mountain. I may have messed that up. Blue Mountain to play college, Division III college tennis, and Kyle's up at West Alabama finishing up playing baseball. And just everybody loves Daryl Blevins. It's hard. He is the epitome of a Christian coach and a decent human being and a great baseball lover. So can't say enough about him, man.
Here is this from Kyle and Denise.
Hey, Kyle and I are here on behalf of Daryl Dobie Blevins. He and Barry grew up together. Sounds like they kind of ran the ballparks back in Montgomery. But I just have to say, I have to thank Mr. Barry. He got Daryl into college baseball. And if he had not drug him down to Dothan, Alabama, we might not have ever met. So thank you, Barry. And congratulations on your retirement from the Coaches Association.
Mr. Barry, I just want to say thank you for playing matchmaker, because without that, I wouldn't, me nor Craig would be here. But we just want to send our hearts out to just a great congratulations on an incredible run with the association. Just thank you for all you've done for us and the friendship that I got to watch you and Dad have, and see y'all get into coaching together, and you get him into college ball, and then you go into the Hall of Fame and he get the Distinguished Service Award the same year. It was special, and it's definitely inspired me to seek that kind of friendship in somebody as I continue my journey into coaching one day. So just on behalf of our family and Mom, Dad, myself, and Craig, we say congratulations. You're the man, and there's not a person more deserving.
Good job, Barry.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, the matchmaker, when Daryl got let go, when Daryl got let go of Kershaw Rail Equipment up here, Kershaw is like a big railroad company in Montgomery, and he got let go just because of number. I mean, you don't get rid of Daryl Blevins unless something's crazy going on, because he was like over safety out there. And dude, if he's over safety, you know, they're not going to have an issue in 50 years or what. It would be their fault and they wouldn't get sued or whatever. But they let him go. And that's when I was coaching at Wallace of Dothan, and I was just laughing. I was like a hawk on a power line. I said, this is the shot to get him in. If that wasn't God working, that was God. It had to be, because he would have went into college baseball. He coached at Lee for years for free, or nickels and dimes, Robert E. Lee. Great baseball program back then, and but he wanted to do it full time, but he wasn't going to leave that money at Kershaw, and he was real structured with his life, and that's a great coach as well. But he got let go, and I was at Wallace. I just got the job at Wallace. I said, "Won't you come on down here and help me?" And he did it, and that's where he met Denise. I can't take I take third party credit maybe. I didn't introduce him, but he met her. Now they didn't date while they were still at Wallace, right, Denise? But they got together whenever, and it's lived happily ever after, and just a blessing to get let go. That's one of those God moments that one door closes and a way better one opens. And he goes to Alabama Southern, gets full-time teaching business, and then his life really picked up on a normal financial level, and they went to help Wayne Larker at Faulkner in there full-time as a teacher, business teacher, and then got the job at Jeff Davis / now Coastal North. But hey, Joe Alberstadt sent this to me. Some of my family and friends are watching this because they were on my text list. And Robert, you're thinking they might get off. Joe Alberstadt would never stay up. He stayed up 2 hours and 20 minutes. Joe said, been watching you on Jock Jive for the past 2 hours and 20 minutes. Can't begin to tell you just how many others, just like many others, how proud I am of what you've done. He doesn't know this because he's a big Catholic friend of mine, and he knows me as a Catholic and kind of what I'm doing ministry-wise. But I told Jennifer, a sweet wife, you were retiring, but to save our money because we're not going to be buying ACCA raffle tickets. I'll send them for the fall fundraiser. I send all my family and friends the $10 tickets for the ALABCA, which I'm going to have to put that. Yeah, Joe, save your money for my Coke fundraiser at St. Margaret's on November the 1st, $100. But good people, man. You got something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely. I know that your people have allowed us to keep you till 10 o'clock now, but we still got a lot to do in 27 minutes. Right. Miracle League's coming up. We want to know about the funding aspect that you played a role in too. But first, this from Paul Vircher.
Oh yeah, board member.
Hey Barry, Paul Vircher here. You know, you were my player coach back in high school. I got to watch your career at Chattahoochee Valley and then at AUM, and then the different coaching gigs you've had along the way in high school, at other Division I schools, and then, you know, your junior college stint there at Lawson State. Nobody out hustles or outworks Barry Dean. It's kind of a hallmark. And you've certainly done that here at the association. we both know the association. We've been with this group long enough to know that, we had some pretty lean times in the beginning. But you really have a first-class organization. It's very well established. I think it's the preeminent baseball association in the country. And we couldn't have done that without your leadership. So while we'll miss you, we're excited about the next chapter. You're going to do great things. I know you'll bring the Barry Dean work ethic to everything that you do. But you're also the best lobbyist probably down in Montgomery right now, and you've been able to really help the association through those connections. And we just know the sky's the limit for you, and no matter what you do, just some of the other work that you've done in your spare time, which can't be very much, but you've really worked well with the Miracle League and are just making such a difference in the lives of a lot of those kids that really need your help. And giving them a love of baseball. You worked with USA and the Dominican Republic with those. I mean, you just give back too. So, you've done everything exceptionally well. Somebody asked me once about you, and I said, well, Barry Dean loves baseball, but at the same time, baseball loves and needs Barry Dean. So glad you're going to continue on. Look forward to seeing what the next chapter is. You're going to always be one of my best friends, and I'm just so happy for you and looking forward to seeing what the next chapter holds. We love you, buddy.
Paul Vircher, real quick about him. He was 2 years behind me at Montgomery Catholic, and I came back from that Georgia baseball camp for my senior year, and I had really picked up a lot from those guys. And I was kind of coaching some, and I don't know math, I don't know science, I don't know. But baseball stuck with me, those things those big-time guys told me, and I was already starting to kind of pass them down. That's all I've done with the ALABCA, was I've passed on doing dinners and doing clinics and getting people to come in that I love clinics, so I want to put on a good clinic or convention and do a good Miracle League dinner, blah, blah, blah. But Paul Vircher, at one time, we had a $20,000 line of credit with Regions, and we had maxed it out, and we had not paid a nickel back. And, they didn't come collect my house or collect the Tundra. My Tundra. I didn't have the ALABCA Tundra. I had my Tundra then. They didn't come get it. Joyce Gray was at Regions. Thanks, Joyce. She's retired. But so at the board meeting, we're not like broke in the bank account, but we have very little, and we've maxed out $20,000, and we're keeping money in the account, but a little bit. So at the July 31st is a closed fiscal year. And I'm like, so I'm the leader of the board. I'm not on the board, but I'm the leader of the board meeting. And I'm just like, all right, guys, I'm not the perfect CPA guy, and I'm the creative guy, but I said, I'm going to do this, and I think it'll get us out we'll pay the $20,000 back, and I think we'll be fine. They said, okay, fine, whatever. They're probably, thinking about, shutting me down, but they acted like, okay, we trust you. And then a couple years later, we ended up having $100,000 July 31st in the checking account.
Wow.
Where it built up more and more, but a few years down the road, we had $100,000 July 31st. And then I started to get bonuses at the end. So anyway.
And it has been your relationships with,
oh my gosh,
lawmakers that have led to some funding increases.
That's Senator Arthur Orr. He's over the education budget from Decatur, and that was the senators and representatives softball game they play at Riverwalk, which I heard is due to orthopedic surgeons being called on after that game. I heard that today. I was at the State House. That may be that game may be over. It's been a few years they've done it, and they really play hard. But Senator Arthur Orr is over the education budget for the senators, and Representative Danny Crawford from Trussville on the representative side. And he's been good to us. He's a great friend of the late, great William Booth. Can you imagine? You talk about me begging for money. William Booth's baseball program was like that thick with ads. When people went in, I think Coach Booth had people come in the back door when he went in the front door, because he knew they would try to run out the back door. So he already had like the Starsky and Hutch, one's in the front, one's in the back. So, and once you're in their booth, that they had the checkbook just coming out. The business had the checkbook coming out. So, but Coach Booth is great friends with Senator Orr, and I think that helped us some. Just him being a great friend of Senator Orr, who's a lawyer in Decatur, but knowing the value of baseball and coaching with a legend like William Booth. And Coach Booth loved our association. We named an award after him, the Lifetime Achievement Award, for 57 years in the Hartselle system, 36 as a coach, 57 as a full-time employee. So the William Booth Lifetime Achievement Award. for someone who's been there that long. So, and we gave it to Bureau Mural last year for the first year. Not every year will we probably give it, but anyway, keep going.
And speaking of relationships with lawmakers or those within the government, here's a conversation with Greg Reed.
Big time helper.
Well, I'm excited about an opportunity to say good things about Barry Dean. Barry's been a great friend of mine for a long time. I've been very impressed with what Barry's done. During my tenure of 14 years in the Alabama State Senate, I had an opportunity to see Barry from time to time walking the halls asking for support for his organization. And Barry always struck me as a man of integrity, a man of great faith and character. He was very involved in doing great things for coaches and great things for kids. As a matter of fact, my youngest son was involved in some of the association programs. We had a great experience with that. That was one of the ways that we met Barry early on. And my son went on to play at Southern Union and then the University of Montevallo as a baseball scholar. And I had a great experience playing baseball at the college level and got a great education as a result. One of the things that Barry and I worked on tirelessly was looking for ways to be able to fund the association's programs and being able to add additional dollars over time. Barry did all the work. I just made a few suggestions, but we were able to increase funding for the association in a way that allowed them to continue to do the things they were doing to support coaches, to support schools, and in particular, support young men that were looking to grow their skill set in the sport of baseball. And I just can't say enough about Barry. I know that many are disappointed that he's transitioning to new opportunities, but that's a part of life for all of us. I've just transitioned to a new opportunity myself, working for the governor of Alabama, and it's exciting. But having the ability to work with Barry Dean has been a great privilege. I wish him the absolute best in anything and everything that he's going to be involved in the future, and just want him to know of my personal appreciation for his dedication to young men in the sport of baseball for a long time. Congratulations to you, Barry. God bless you, my friend.
I tell you, I got to throw this in. And this is Senator Reed's been a great friend of ours, and he's helped grow. It could be way bigger, but he's helped grow the money to $125,000 in the budget. But the backstory to this is the first time. This is like a first-time bombshell story for a book. And Robert, that year, we were still doing the regional workouts. This is before COVID, so there were a bunch of kids coming to the workouts. And that was in the north, their workouts. He was at Walker High School. Pat Ware, great friend of ours. And I was in the south running those workouts. So I forget, Mike Murphy may have been in the north. And so they're doing the workouts, and we're getting the roster. They're kind of they're in the middle, they're in the midst of picking the teams. And at this time, I stayed out of picking the teams. Once Daryl Blevins and I got through and I got guys to do it, I wasn't doing it. I ran the workouts. I threw to 100 kids. Literally, I would throw to 100 kids. Casey Underwood can attest to it. We had a great meal at the Applebee's. Long inside joke. But I throw to the kids, run the workout. I was an Energizer Bunny, but I wasn't picking the kids. So one of the few times I did this, and this is life, man. His kid came to the workout, John Michael, and he's worthy because he got 2 scholarship offers from our event. Sneed and Sneed. Casey offered him, and so did Southern Union. And his son and Jimmy Stubbs' son from Riverbank and Trust, who founded Riverbank and Trust, both roomed at Southern Union. Talk about a small world. Just that's our association and the many people. Jimmy Stubbs founded Riverbank. Now there's like 25 Riverbanks around the state. You talk about 2 power guys, and Senator Reed, their sons room together at Southern Union, both get offers from All-Star event. Well, originally, John Michael was not picked out of our workout. And let me tell you, it's not a knock against John Michael because they all start running together. And unless the guy's throwing 98 miles an hour and runs a 6.5 60, okay, he really jumps out or hits one 500 feet. But John Michael's a good player. And like I said, played college ball. There are a lot of guys that don't get picked who play college ball. Well, the famous one was Ricky Bowen, who went to Mississippi State and played 4 years after we didn't pick him from Summerton Christian. I think he's back at Summerton coaching now. He knows I always tell that story about him. But I knew who Senator Reed was. 16 ACT or not, we need his son. His son needs to make a team. So he was not on the original roster. So I told the guys, he needs to be on a roster. Had no idea where it would lead. No idea. But he needs to be on the roster. And Pat Ware said, what a genuine first class. Senator Reed made no calls about that. But I said to myself, he needs to be on a roster. His mom and dad come to the event, see the great work we do I think that year I may have had a pornography speaker from Birmingham, Greg Oliver. He spoke a couple different times at our convention on pornography. Unfortunately, he was addicted to pornography, saved his marriage. He was a Protestant minister, but had a ministry on pornography. And what better kids to talk to 120 high school kids on pornography, because it's wrecking our country, and the dads too, but that were in the audience with their kids. But I think that talk was given that time. So Senator Reed loved the talks off the field and everything that happened. But the reality is he got lost in the shuffle of all the players, and he was good enough, obviously, to get a college scholarship, JUCO and 4-year, but it's easy. But I made that call, the one of my few Steinbrenner calls, where I said, put him on the team. That's the first history. That's the first time that's been told. And it's not a knock against John Michael because he was a college player, but there was just too many kids to pick, and guys get left off. We got a 350 in the north and 350 in the south, and you pick 60 from the north and 60 from the south. Guys are going to get left off. But I said he needs to be on a team. Yeah, because never know. Anyway.
14 minutes to go in the show. Two very, very important topics to cover, and one near and dear to your heart, and I guess the other near and dear as well. Let's start with the Miracle League.
Yeah, just keep it rolling. These are just cute kids that make me disappear when you look at the picture. I saw that kid last year. I saw that kid. The one kid was from Dothan. This kid's from Moody. I saw both those kids last year when I went to the leagues to volunteer. They were still there, and they've grown, obviously. And both of them are still there at the Miracle Leagues. They've all grown in size. Oh, that's Cooper and Moody. So cute.
And two, we heard from Casey Underwood, who you influenced to participate in the Miracle League.
I nudged him at the state tournament in Ozark to go to Dothan. Yep.
I'd like to say thank you very much to Barry Dean for getting Snead State Baseball, as well as myself, involved with Miracle League. It's the best thing that's ever happened to our program, let alone myself. It's taught us how to care about the person to the left and to the right, and I can't thank him enough for what he's done to get our program involved with the Miracle League. And yes, he had to push me in a little bit. He'll take all the credit in the world. We know Barry. He won't run away from any of that credit. But we got involved, and it has been something that is just near and dear to us. And again, I can't thank Barry enough for what he's done for the state of Alabama with baseball, and everything that he does for any up-and-coming kids that got scholarships at the junior college level, 4-year level, and everybody that's been through his camps and all of his stuff. You know, we love you, Barry. We're proud of you. You'll do great things. And I can't thank you enough for all that you've done to help me get towards Miracle League and what it's brought to our program.
Well, the same thing happened with him that's happened with me. You know, Sammy Frichter invited me to the Miracle League March 26. You got that? March 26, 2011. You got that picture? Well, I know you got 100 things you're looking at right now.
I do not know if I have that picture.
You're the double picture of Sammy and then the girl I'm hugging. I sent you the combination picture. That's it.
Okay, there we are.
That's March 26, 2011. Sammy Frichter, the legend from Wallace of Dothan, had married, had a second wife. Everybody knows Michael, if you know Coach Frichter, who's grown up unbelievably. He was physically and emotionally disabled. And then, of course, that's Ashley up top. That's March 26, 2011, when he invited me to the opening ceremony. And I got hooked that day on Miracle League. And the dinner I was doing early on, a couple of years, the dinner was for our scholarships. And I literally said, we got to give that money to the Miracle Leagues. And we just fund our scholarships for the Troy event because Troy gets us a great deal on the food and stuff. Anyway, so that money's generated from there. But there's Sammy and Michael, and then Ashley. And Ashley's still there playing. And Sammy and Michael are doing the Miracle League. Great work there as well. Still just beautiful, man. So, and I pass it on to Casey. And I pass it on to coaches in the state. So Casey, I can't take credit. Sammy Fritter gets all the credit from a Miracle League love. And I just pass that on, and you pass it on to your players, and your players are going to coach one day. And I guarantee you, his players are out of their mind involved in the Miracle League in Albertville. They've adopted that league. I've been there 3 or 4 times when they're doing it, and they get into it. They dress up for Halloween, and his kids will go on and do it and give him the credit, like he's giving me the credit. And they'll be coaches and get their kids involved in the Miracle League or Special Olympics or something. So keep it rolling with what else you got. But, yeah, beautiful.
Miracle League, obviously near and dear to your heart. And then, of course, the new endeavor. When you leave on the 31st of July, well, actually, it's already kind of blending together. But then on the 31st, you solely turn, I say solely, with a little variable mixed in, but you turn your thoughts to the ACCA.
Yeah, I'm doing that now. You have Todd Watts. Have you shown the Todd Watts video?
Todd Watts video.
You remember he's one taking over for me.
Oh yeah, that's coming in. Yeah.
Okay. Father Zogby.
Todd Watts and your spiritual. What's going on? Okay, but no, yes, we got the Todd.
Father Paul Zogby there. That's at the Seminary in Gala, which is coming up August the 8th, with the Mobile Archdiocese. That's from Montgomery to Dothan, Montgomery to Auburn to Dothan to Mobile. That's the Mobile Archdiocese. And Father Zogby, that's when they do the gala, and all the priests serve us who have paid about $300 to be there. And it's an unbelievable, like a 7-course meal, legit. Father Zogby's in Foley, Alabama, where I will do one of my fundraisers November 1st for the Association of Catholic Coaches and Athletes. So he's my spiritual director as well, where you go talk to him about what's going on in your life spiritually and faith-wise, and even go to confession to him, unload everything, little all in one, all in one stop. So, love Father Zogby, and great influence and insight into my life, and mentor for sure.
I want to hear one more time too from Mark Jackson, who is a priest and obviously has an impact on your life spiritually.
Methodist minister, phenomenal. Okay.
So this is the time to have a little bit of fun with Barry Dean as he transitions from being the executive director of the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association to a new ministry that he has created, a faith-supported ministry, which is going to be a ministry to Catholic coaches and Catholic athletes. I admire Barry for making this transition, because he was so good at what he does with the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association. But Barry, there's been a few times in my relationship with Barry where he's just made me shake my head with some of the things he's told me. One of my favorite stories goes way back before we really came into this close friendship that we have. I was the director for Central Alabama's Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and Barry was an assistant baseball coach at the time of Troy State University, which I had the privilege of playing baseball back in the day. And I ran into Barry at a baseball game at Patterson Field. Now, remember, we didn't know each other real well. We knew each other, and we were talking like up in the walkway where a lot of people stand at Patterson Field during games. And I said, Barry, it's awesome that you're, coaching at Troy State. That's, where I had the privilege to play. I said, how do you feel coaching there? And he said, well, I love coaching anywhere I can. He said, my goal is to one day be known as the Bear Bryant of baseball in Alabama. And I had no comeback. It's like, how do you make a comeback to that? And, Barry went on and coached for several years. And then he went into this, Alabama Baseball Coaches Association position, executive director, for 25 years. And what I can say looking back now is Barry really is kind of like the Bear Bryant of Alabama baseball. He has probably impacted this state for baseball more than any one person. And that's talking about a lot of great baseball people in the state of Alabama. So to the Bear Bryant of Alabama baseball, love you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm turning 10 shades of red. He's the only person that ever remembered that statement. That's a quote in the newspaper that like Jimmy Johnson, the writer, put in there, and he read that in the newspaper. He's the only one that ever remembers that comment. I'm born on the same day as Bear Bryant and Tom Landry, September 11th. I always thought it was going to be a trivia question. What 3 great coaches are born on September 11th? 2 of them, Tom Landry and Bear Bryant, will go down in history. The third one was the executive director of the ALABCA, who is not that great coach. But that was my goal. I wasn't shy. That didn't mean I knew everything, but I wanted to coach for 25 years and be a great JUCO coach like Larry Gino Grosso. Can we get Gino on? Is he still there?
I don't have him in. No.
No. He must have checked out. Were you gonna anyway? Mark has been an unbelievable mentor, and it's just it is so funny. That he would bring that up, and he brought it up to me before a couple of years ago and reminded me of me saying that. And it's funny. It's God's plan. My plan was to coach 25 years, 30 years in JUCO, where I walked on and had the opportunity. And he knew I was going to be better at running the Baseball Coach Association by all means, which I had no idea. And whether I was that great at it, it was what I was supposed to be doing, that everybody knows and tells me, from Bobby Sproul to Butch hey, Larry Junior Grosso is waiting. Well, Larry Junior Grosso is waiting. Do you not see him?
He is not in my green room, so to speak.
Can you? You sure?
Yep.
Can you roll something else real quick?
Sure. We'll run a spot for Scholarship Day.
Do it.
Since 2006, the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association has awarded 80 high school seniors a total of $130,000 in scholarships to be used during their freshman year of college. Each May, the scholarship recipients and their parents are recognized on the field during the 7A AHSAA State Championship Series. Please consider supporting the ALABCA Scholarship Program by clicking the donate button at alabca.org.
Well, look here, Barry Dean, who is
he's here.
Joined us. Now, let's see if we can get some audio. Looks like we've got a picture, but no audio yet. So
he's been staying up. I'm gonna try it now. He's past his bedtime, so you better hurry up. Can you hear us, G?
He can probably hear us, but we can't hear him yet. But
can
there's
you
a
hear us?
mic unmute somewhere that looked like it was unmuted to begin with, but it's muted at the moment. But tell us who this gentleman is.
And maybe he's coming back. You let him. He's got to be on if I'm gonna talk good about him. He was in.
Yeah, I think he's got some internet issues. It looks like that's typically what that's a sign of.
That's right. I've seen that spinning many times. Usually it's in my head.
Well, tell us, he's dropped out for the moment. Well, now let's see. Might be coming back in. Here we go.
He is. All right.
How you doing, Larry?
Can you hear us, Coach? Can you hear us?
Barry?
We got you.
Can
You there?
y'all
How
hear
you
me?
doing? Yeah.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Hey,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm here.
I'll
Man,
tell you
I
who
can't
this.
tell you. I've been listening for the last 2.5 hours. It is incredible. It is totally just
Hold it.
unbelievable.
Let me introduce
the
you.
people that have called in and texted.
Well, we're
Okay.
saving the best for last. We're saving and you're the only live guys. Some of you, of course, the older coaches have gone to sleep now. But anyway, I'm not saying if Randy or Bobby or Steve Helms is watching, they're asleep. But guys, everybody who ever owned, and if you watch this recording wise, this is Larry.
Boy, yeah, boy, it was great to.
This is Larry Junior Grosso, everybody. He was I know he coached. I can semi-know you're 15 years at Berry, 9 years at Central Alabama Community College baseball. You started the program, made it one of the top JUCOs in the state, you and Lee Hall by far. And then you went to UAB for 7 years, head baseball coach, your alma mater. Got out of there, 32 years of baseball coaching and some high school football, great football coach at Berry, now Hoover. And great football coach. I know you're a great defensive coach. And then you go into principalship at Pelham, assistant principal, and then assistant principal at Pelham, and then principal at Spain Park, one of the largest high schools in the state. Over 50 years. Over
Spain
50.
Park.
How many? How many years total?
Yeah.
How many years?
47.
47 years. So, but
47 years.
you are a tie.
47.
You were at Central Alabama and Isaac Troy as a GA, and I'd come up and talk to you about running a disciplined program because you ran a heck of a disciplined program, very structured, very disciplined, like Brian Shoup. Pat McMahon, phenomenal. And then you're very, very devout. You don't want me to say this. You're very devout in your faith. You go to daily mass, which my mom did. And it had a great influence on me. You were devout in your Catholic faith. You didn't brag about it, but you were devout in your Catholic faith. And you knew I was Catholic, and you mentored me there, and you didn't mind talking your faith about to me. You didn't go out, but you didn't shy away from it. So so now that I'm transitioning into running the Association of Catholic Coaches and Athletes full time, that I formed back in 2011, like FCA, but for Catholic coaches and athletes, you were a large part of my baseball coaching and how I ran my program, and you're a large part of my faith, and that's so you're kind of the combination of my transition. So it's great having you on. You take it away. Oh my gosh. He's having some shoot up. He comes back in. I had to introduce him.
What role did he play in your life?
Well, he was just a great mentor. He coached at Central Alabama, and I was a GA at Troy in 1991, and I recruited some of his guys. Duncan, the Duncan kid, we signed him at first base, and did a great job left-handed hitting first base. We ended up passing away, but and then
can y'all hear me?
Yeah. You start talking. The mic's yours.
He's just got apparent internet issues. So
yeah, it could be. Yeah. He does a lot of tech. He, as a principal, he always did a lot of Zoom. I know a lot of tech stuff, so it ain't like it's not like he's not versed in it. But he was a huge, very devout in his faith. He could be a priest. He's married, has 2 adult kids, but he could be a priest with his. This might be G right here. Stephen Duncan. Lee Hall just told me Stephen Duncan's Lee Hall's still listening. Gino's longtime assistant in at Homewood. Stephen, thanks, Lee.
By the way, Lee Gann is also trying to get in, so I have sent him a link. So while we await maybe his arrival into the green room, you're passing the baton to Todd Watts.
Yeah. Hit that. If Gino comes back in, he can definitely have the mic. But yeah, we can keep going, man. Let's keep going a little longer. Hit Todd Watts, another godsend who's helped with our association. And he was at Elmore County High School as Michael Bird's assistant for several years. He's a math teacher at Elmore County. Mike Bird's still there as a history teacher, now coaching at Huntington. And Todd did not coach this past year. Doesn't want to be a head coach. He's helped with our convention, Todd has, as Michael has, and Mike helps with other showcases and stuff, an all-star event. But Todd just came into my periphery. I had a couple other guys in mind to do it, to take over for me. But, I literally prayed about it. And you care so much about something, you don't want it to fall. I want it to thrive. I don't want them to say, oh, we couldn't do it without you. I want them to do better like Blake did at Lawson State. He did way better as a head coach than I did. But I told Dr. Ward when I left Lawson, this guy's young, but you need to give him a shot. And he blew it out of the water at Lawson. He's doing great things at Gaston State already. So Todd, I think, has the skills. He's outgoing. He's smart. He's a math major. Way different than me. But he's got the personality. Some math guys you think would be in the box and real kind of, but Todd's outgoing also. A little zany like me. I took him to the State House today to meet a lot of the secretaries and who are the gatekeepers. He did a great job with them. Mike Bird went with us. Mike knew half of them and knew people who knew them, and they were both just carrying on, never really being in the State House. You think they'd been there 100 times. So both of them are going to help greatly. But Todd is going to take the baton, still keep teaching math at Elmore County. Going to help at Montgomery Academy, assistant baseball, help Brad Parker there. But he's going to be to oversee a lot of what's going on for sure and have more help and don't do as much as I did, but still oversee, not do it full time. But he's got the skills, man. I've heard him, the things he says, and his mind works. You have a video to play on him?
I do.
Hit that, baby.
Hey, Barry. Just wanted to say congratulations. Good luck in your retirement. I hope the Catholic Coaches and Athletes Association goes extremely well for you, and I really want to thank you for the opportunity that you are giving me to succeed you in the executive director role for the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association. Love you, brother. Good luck.
And there again, a conversation with Todd Watts. Todd Watts, the new executive director. Barry is on the phone right now. So, Barry, I've taken you out of the picture.
Hey, I'm
There
talking.
we go.
Well, I'm talking to Gino. I'm talking to Larry Gino. Can Lee Gain come in?
He's not in the here. Nope, he's not in the green room as we speak.
He sent a text in, didn't he?
Yes. So I think we have gotten everybody that wanted to, or at least send information or videos or pictures.
Yeah. Gino,
Can you hear me, Barry?
Yeah, go ahead. Start talking.
Can you hear me?
Yes. He froze again.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Well, it says I'm in the show.
Yeah. Talk. We can hear you.
Well, apparently the internet's just insufficient to be able to.
That's right. Have we
on? Our apologies for the technical snafu from that perspective, but it's technology for you. Sometimes it's adequate, and sometimes it's not.
Hey, you have one more? Do you have anything else to show?
I think we're done.
Hey,
we are good.
Hey, we're hey, Robert. Show a commercial real quick.
Since 1995, the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association has held its annual Coaches Convention, where up to 450 high school and college coaches gather to learn more about their craft from some of the best coaches in Alabama and the country. The annual awards banquet is also held during the convention, where standout high school and college players and coaches from the past season are honored for their success. The banquet's highlight occurs when the new Hall of Fame class is inducted and the Distinguished Service Award recipient is honored.
The Alabama Baseball Coaches Association All-Star event has been a staple in amateur baseball in Alabama since 2000. Each June, 120 high school underclassmen join at Troy University to participate in this highly coveted event. Besides being evaluated on the field in a pro-style workout and in live games by 30 to 40 college coaches, the players and their parents attend informational sessions on the recruiting process and academic requirements. We look forward to seeing you this summer at our annual All-Star event.
The Alabama Baseball Coaches Association's annual First Pitch Dinner and Silent Auction raises money for the Miracle Leagues of Alabama. These leagues allow disabled children and adults to play the game of baseball on synthetic and turf fields. Besides helping subsidize players' uniform costs and league equipment costs, the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association is committed to getting more high school and college teams involved in volunteering in these leagues. Click on the donate button at alabca.org to help support this life impact.
Since 2006, the Alabama Baseball Coaches Association has awarded 80 high school seniors a total of $130,000 in scholarships to be used during their freshman year of college. Each May, the scholarship recipients and their parents are recognized on the field during the 7A AHSAA State Championship Series. Please consider supporting the ALABCA Scholarship Program by clicking the donate button at alabca.org.
All right. Well, Barry, the little technical snafu. Hey, that's just like a game of the week, isn't it?
Oh my God! Don't even go into that. Don't even. We'll be here another hour.
It's like wind blowing across the
60-mile-an-hour gale wind or whatever. No, but Gino's a huge part of my life. Everybody heard that. So he's been a huge part of my Catholic coaching ministry. And anyway, I'm fired up to do that, and I will be a friend to the ALABCA this next year and helping Todd Watts and Mike Burr and Johnny Johnson, all those guys. I'm not going completely away. But I'll do way more. Obviously, the ACCA ministry is I've already met with John Calipari at Arkansas. He's a big Catholic, and might talk to Mike Bianco today at Ole Miss Baseball. He's very excited about what I'm doing. He's a Catholic faith-based man, and I've talked with some. I'm just going to try to get in a lot of the schools and colleges and Catholic colleges and schools, and I'm just excited about. I have more passion for this because you're trying to affect people for eternity, baseball, I have that saying, coach your players for a lifetime, not just a season. My brother, the priest, said for ACCA, coach your players for eternity, not just a season. So that's kind of our tagline. I think I shot you the logo. Can you, before we sign off, you got the ACCA logo?
I do not.
Okay. That's all right. I shot that to you late, I think, real late, the ACCA logo. But anyway, appreciate you having me on, and appreciate everybody. I've had some comments on the text. I know Lee Hall's watching it to the end.
And we apologize to Lee and Larry. Just technical things sometimes going awry.
It happens. Can't believe some of my AUM buddies came in. So it's been good. It's been a great ride, and I've been honored and humbled to serve the baseball coaches and players in this state. I do have the passion for it. That's the Lord putting that on my heart, and my dad nurturing me in baseball all those years when he was alive, and he was a league official. He had a heart attack at East Montgomery in 1989 at the ballpark when he was still a league official, while I was coaching a 12-year-old team, helping my cousin. So in between when I was finishing up my college. So just a blessing to have my dad nurture the game and not push me away, like unfortunately happens a lot of times nowadays. But and now my faith-wise, I just had a lot of great influences like Gino and my brother and my mother. And I'm excited about this. At 60, you're supposed to be slowing down, but I'm just hitting it wide.
Age is just a number, man.
Wide open, and I want to do us more live streams, Catholic sports all around the country. Baseball, football, especially, maybe other sports, but football, especially football, because that's the king. And, my goal would be to have confession at a football game. Have confession stalls at a sporting event.
It may happen. You never know.
That's creative. It's going to happen if we do some more games. So, thank Robert. You've been a big part of my life recently with ALABCA, and I'm looking for the ACCA continuation of that. And you're going to keep doing ALABCA stuff. You film the speakers at our convention, put them on our library section. The coaches go back and watch them 100 times, as much as they want to, and that's invaluable. Educating our coaches to go back to see our great speakers as much as they want to. Who are members? You got to be a member. And but anyway, everybody, if you're here this long, ACCA and DA.org is the Catholic Coaches and Athletes. I'll take your donations. So,
and Barry too, obviously, thank you very much for what you have done. I mean, the people that have contributed with posters, make that with videos, with pictures. I mean, obviously, they've been impacted by the work that you've done over 25 years as the executive director and 29 years as a part of the ALABCA, or they wouldn't have put the videos together, or they wouldn't have done the pictures. So obviously you've had an impact on their life.
Well, they've been, like I said, the Miracle Leagues. People thank me for doing that, but I said I get way more than I'll ever give when I go to the Miracle Leagues. And I'm going to keep doing some Miracle League, and I will probably tie that into the Catholic Coach Association for the Catholic schools to go out to their different Miracle Leagues. But and ours still urge them to go out in Alabama. And I just been blessed. When you give so much, you get way more in return, and I'm blessed 1,000 times over. So appreciate it, brother, and appreciate all the shout outs and the roasting. I've been roasting since I was a third-year player at Chattahoochee Valley, and the umpire said, "You can't get a master's, Barry." I've been roasted for a long time. So anyway, thanks for doing this, and you'll record it. It's recorded, right? And
it is.
Yep. And we'll tweet it out, text it out, email it out, and people can watch it or not. So thanks for everything, buddy.
So thank you, Barry. 25 years at the helm of the ALABCA as the executive director. Hey, so adios, Barry. I think that's the way this show started.
And the fanny pack will live on.
Okay, it's not like an honorary pack that goes from somebody. I mean, is Todd going to be wearing the fanny pack?
I cannot impart that on anybody. That's your own decision. There will be a lot of heckling. There will be a lot of if you do. So I always carried it because I sweat a ton in my uniform in the workouts. So I put my cell phone, I put my rosary. I don't want my rosary in my pouch to get soaking wet. I put my little pen and paper that Julian Mock told me to carry with me, the Red Scout 50 years ago. Said always have pen and paper on you. And I'd put that stuff in my fanny pack so it wouldn't get sweaty. So anyway.
Barry Dean.
And a pack of crackers, Lance peanut butter crackers.
Barry Dean, ALABCA, about to be the ACCA guy. Thank you very much for the 25 years at the ALABCA.
Hasta la vista, baby.